Hey, everyone. I don't know why everything's so dark. Why is it dark now? Whatever, it's fine. Thanks for being here. We're good. We got a few people with us. Did I get everyone? I feel like, oh, yep. Hey, fellas. Thank you for being here as always. Appreciate you guys coming in, spending time.
So I'm just gonna say it. Can we acknowledge? Can we like as a unit? There's nothing to talk about. Can we acknowledge that everything surrounding that dang pool is absolutely disappointing for this country? Yeah. The pool is like the perfect encapsulation.
Yeah, but I gotta say, I maybe the pool's not going so well, but I've had some friends who just got back from Washington. They're like, "Oh my God, I used to live in Washington City and Washington D.C. and it was dog shit, and now I go out to Columbus Park and it's beautiful, and all these other places. Oh, it's nice. They got rid of graffiti. So 1 out of 10 fail. Sure, you know what? You're right. It is an allegory for the Trump presidency. 9 out of 10 times he's hitting it right. I'll forgive the 10%.
Gibbs.
He's trying to arrest a man. Felony charge. An Olympian.
Well, listen. Well, don't fucking put shit in the pool. Listen, I
don't like put shit in the pool.
Listen, I don't like it. I think kids should be arrested for pissing in the pool. That's gross. Whatever.
Gibbs, we spent on the DC bit, right?
Sure.
We spent millions upon millions of dollars to have the National Guard out there. We've still been out there for months. They never left. To just pick up trash and then take down graffiti.
Wonderful.
Hey, Gibbs,
they're allowing them to
use of their time.
I actually think it is a supremely effective use of their time. I love that they are helping out the rank and file police officers. They're doing what the National Guard should be doing, bettering the lives of the everyday American.
They can't arrest though. They don't have to arrest.
They don't have to. They can help with support. They can be there for whatever support they need. They can pick up trash. They can police areas by walking around and get people there. This is a wonderful, effective use. And you should be applauding it because they're not doing it in a militarized manner. They are out there in their gear, yes, because they are the National Guard, helping doing the day-to-day of the jobs. They're giving back to the American people. That's what we should be doing with our tax dollars.
I don't like the price for it, but I actually don't disagree with the concept. I do think that there needs to be a larger federal government connection to just general community service. I'd like if you want to, especially police, you want to help public relations, just do.
I don't agree to that at all. By the way, I think the state government should. The federal government should be handling federal stuff. We need a better connection with
the federal government. The Washington D.C. is the federal government fucking job. That's the place. That's the seat of the federal government.
Yeah, but the premise you guys are talking about is the premise you guys are talking about, without getting into the weeds, is involvement of your government to the community, and that's the state's job. And the problem is, there's too much of a detachment. So I would focus on state connectivity.
Yeah, but Joe, aren't you a progressive kind of? Yeah. I don't know what you classify yourself as.
He's a liberal.
I am me.
Well, okay, maybe this is more directed at Prime. This is maybe more directed at Prime then, but maybe it's siding. Listen, y'all are the ones who are always telling me that government should be taking a bigger step in bettering the lives of Americans. This is one step toward. Listen, now they don't have to worry about stepping on a hobo needle while they walk out. Do you remember a few years ago? Remember when they were putting the AIDS needles in the fucking gas pumps, and getting people? Do you remember that?
A lot of that was it just made up.
Sure.
But the thing is, you would never support the issue is I think it is good, but you would never support it if a Democrat put this. You would say it was worth tax dollars.
Hold on, I don't even particularly like it so much as a conservative. However, if there is one place they should be doing it, it is Washington D.C. Because they are the seat of federal power, the federal government should be stepping in. Now, if they have the National Guard policing, I don't know, the Alamo, and they're fucking overwhelming my shit, I'm going to be like, oh, well, hey, brother, get the fuck off my fucking the Texas property, yeah. It depends on what. Now, if they're out there picking up trash, I'm like, that's right. Y'all should be picking up trash around the Alamo. Goddammit, these homos are out of hand.
Yeah, I don't care. Yeah, the policing is stupid. I think the trash pick, just the general community service element. Like I said, I think that's worthwhile simply because. If you have any engagement with military people who are in the military, a lot of military action, even National Guard, is just hurry up and wait. Like they're like, we're here because we're supposed to be here, and they won't have actual tasks to do. So we're just gonna make some stuff.
Well,
up.
You ever see
the stuff you need to be making up should be like community.
You seen that image, Bam, of the National Guardsmen on top of the not National Guardsmen. I think they're actually Marines. Maybe they were on top of the lockers, like waxing it with like a waxing machine, cleaning it extra because they're like some colonel was like, "Hey, there's a general coming. Make sure the top of these lockers looks like." Half their job's cleaning anyway in the military. You might as well have them clean more shit.
So I've always had an idea. I like the thought of community service, beautifying our cities and just making the world better, right? Like, and so, but like the way it's usually conceived of is through the military. That like, oh yeah, we have to put people through the military, right? It's like the biggest it's like one of the biggest ways to like, and most efficient ways to organize people for a task that we have in our country.
Well, it's also so they can order and just do it immediately. Nobody questions it.
Sorry, what'd you say?
So it's also with the military. It's not like, say, if I was going to do it with an NGO or like my organization, I'm going to have to go through hoops. With the military, the current, like whatever guys in charge, just do this, and they're going to be, yes, sir.
Yeah.
I think I have a solution, Prime. I
have a solution too. Let me
go ahead.
And then I'd love to hear what you have to say. But like, it's like what I thought, like, but I don't want to put people through the military, right? That's like goes against my politics, and it also limits who would even be involved, right? But like there's good reasons to send people to the military because like people will say, right, like, well, in the military I learned a whole like set of skills, right? I got to go places I could never go, like in fucking Bumfuck, Kansas, right? And I'd never get a chance to go to these places. I had these great experiences and I learned skills that I could then apply to a later career. Well, I wanted them to have all of that, right? But we don't have to do it in a career. Like we could like massively expand something like AmeriCorps or whatever, right? Where it's like everyone has like a 2-year guarantee to a job or something, right? Like make this like a regular thing. Like actually you start college at 20, right? People go through this, they get job skills, like go on the job training, where we can take them away from their community so they can have like new experience, and it doesn't have to just be in America, right? Like this could be part of our soft power. We can send these people to places like in different nations, right? To do work. Right? Yes.
Yeah, actually, perfect. This is actually a perfect segue.
Yeah, go ahead.
Like you'll love this. And this is the kind we could start a new program and we can start with Israel doing this. This is our solution.
Oh no!
Solution. You ready for this?
Now, they have every time.
I know. I did this for Prime because I know Prime's gonna like this a lot. Their current conscription for the people being Israeli is 2 years. We forced them to add an extra year to their conscription if they want to continue to get the dollars. And for 1 year of that, all the IDF has to come to America and beautify our cities for free in order for them to receive one more tax dollar from American tax. And in fact, we should extend this to every country that gets military aid from the U.S. Every one of their countries should force their citizens for 1 year conscription of beautifying American cities for free. What are y'all's thoughts on that?
So you want to bring in more foreigners into America?
Yeah, absolutely. I absolutely do. Yeah, but but they're working for us though.
Not only does he want to bring foreigners in, but he wants to bring armed foreigners in.
No, they don't get to bring weapons. They don't have to bring their weapons. They don't get to bring their weapons. They have to do it under. They have to do it under armed American guard while we do it. That way we're providing Americans jobs.
Gibbs, I love you, but let's just admit this was a good idea for about 3 seconds. And
listen, I think it's a great idea. In fact, this is the best part. It'll help our soft power. It'll make them love America more. And you know what? They don't get to bring their weapons, and they just get to be our bitches for a year if they want our money. If they don't do it, guess what?
There it is. They get to be our bitches. We're just reinventing the American empire. That's all we're doing, man.
Yeah,
we're taking the mask off. You will serve the USA.
That's right.
They've been trying to figure out how to slay slavery for a while now. They're like,
perfect. And then you know what we can do with that? We can
other people to be our slaves.
If they're doing so well with beautification and other stuff, we can. Here's another crazy progressive thought. Maybe we can afford universal income for all these people, and American citizens can sit on their ass and watch these people clean our streets.
That's what AI is for.
Yeah, exactly. See, we're getting there, guys. I knew we could make it all. Also, I've always been pro-immigration reform, so that's not really that surprising.
Love to see it.
So, I guess my only pushback here, and actually would be the same pushback that other countries would have to us, right?
We could actually call it the American slavery system for our allies.
Shut up.
My only pushback, Fred, is that the IDF and just Israel, Mossad in general, right? They are known, right, to constantly be trying to spy in America. And if you just gave them a chance to send their armed forces, right, even not, I mean, like members of the military, I mean, send to us, like they'll just like riddle this place with spy.
Listen, I'm okay with that. Here's what we do: we just make sure that we implement that it has to be only women from their IDF. Have you seen IDF babes? Wonderful, great propaganda. And then we just make sure that hey, listen, if we're gonna get hottie potted, at least it's the hot ones.
Well, I mean, okay, fair.
It's gonna happen anyway. Let's enjoy it, right? Like, listen, everybody bashes Caesar for getting honey potted by Cleopatra, and everybody bashes me, Mark Anthony. But every man understands why they did it. Just say it.
Yeah, there's this movie about this Odyssey out right now about what happens when you go off to wage war for women. Let's not do that again.
Fair enough.
We should definitely do that.
So okay. Okay, so we can get started in a second. It seems we're supposedly going to have two others join us, but we'll see. But thank you for those who are here. Okay, I see where I'm missing. Okay, fair enough. Yeah,
Spider-Man
thanks
already made $1 billion.
What'd you say, friend?
I was saying Spider-Man already made $1 billion.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it did actually.
It's been the best year for movies since pre-pandemic.
Well, it's because they're putting out decent shit. They're putting out good shit now, as opposed to garbage.
That's a whole other conversation. I want to fight each and every one of you on this.
Yeah, sure, but I'm saying it's been more consistent this year.
I mean, honestly, like if I don't think this is true at all because all the statistics show otherwise. But if I was MAGA, I would say that like, oh look, the economy's better now. People can afford to go back to the movies. That would be the
let's look at the most controversial movie so far. What, the Odyssey, and then even people I know that don't like that, like we're thinking it was gonna be pretty woke, have said okay, it was pretty solid, right? And so what's crazy is compare that to I don't know what was our Spider-Man. I haven't watched the new Spider-Man yet, but most people I'm hearing are saying it's pretty good, maybe a little bit too much marketing, but it's pretty solid, right? And compare that to I don't know what was it last year, the year before, where they had Anthony Mackie as Captain America, which is sad because I think he should be a great captain. In fact, they should double down on the hate he's getting because it happens in the comics. I think that'd be great. Instead, they're giving him shit writing, and it makes a bad movie. And I think that this year they've been much more consistent with the movies that have been put out across the board.
I'm going to agree with you. Very true. That. Well, at least partly, I'll agree with you. I agree with you that like Captain America and like was it the Red Hawk or whatever? I forget what the name of the movie was. The Red Hawk movie though.
And Brave New World.
Brave New World. Yes. Like I'm sorry. First of all, they fucked up the Red Hawk, right? Like they didn't actually like. There was no point in having this Red Hawk. It was just some like random ass villain that like didn't even like get to like didn't like embody the point of that villain, and so like I didn't really like it.
And they cut Seth Rollins' character out. They also cut. They were going to use Mahershala Ali as Copperhead, and they didn't.
Yeah.
So
and then
that's
like
they were planning to use him as Blade.
Well, yeah, which is dumb. They should have left him as Copperhead.
And then they canceled Blade. Blade apparently, my understanding, has been canceled.
They canceled Wonder Man as well.
Yeah, they canceled Wonder Man, and I think Wonder Man was good. I think Wonder Man's good because it was. Because I liked Marvel trying to like put out like different types of stuff, right? Like for different audiences. Like maybe not everyone like wants like the action thing.
They
right?
grounded it.
Like, yeah. It's like this was it was a completely different look within that universe, right? Like, hey, like what would ordinary people do who aren't necessarily superheroes, but like maybe have superpowers, right? Like they're just trying to live
everybody
their lives.
doesn't want to be a hero. Yeah.
everyone doesn't want to be a hero, right? Like that, like it makes it real for people in an interesting way, right? While keeping it within the universe. So I like that stuff. But for whatever reason, and maybe people weren't watching it. People weren't watching it. It is what it is. But like,
they renewed it like within a week of the end of the season. Like it was doing well enough that they were like, this makes sense. We have to put out more. And then 6 months later, they just decided no. I've heard someone make the cope. I don't think it's real at all. I've heard someone make a cope argument that like based on the type of show it is, with it being about filmmaking and the acting world, that like this itself is a form of marketing. They're like, oh, they're announcing it's canceled because that's like it's like meta, but I don't think that's. I think that is actually canceled.
No,
but
I mean, they would be.
Well,
right.
I mean, Disney keeps making bad decisions. Sorry,
the other show about to say, the other show I think that wasn't as good as it could have been. But I think they had an idea, like they had a grasp on their hand, is She-Hulk. People hated She-Hulk, but I think the idea of like, oh, okay, in this hero world, like these supers eventually need to have like court cases. Like they're like, hey, they come and visit She-Hulk to like solve whatever their case is of whatever they have going on in the world. Like I think that would have been kind of grounded. People seem to love like lawyer shows in general. They always do well, and I think like putting one in the Marvel verse would have been fun. But I think they lean too heavy into the jokes.
I like a lot of She-Hulk. I think they could have done. It could have been executed better. I think there's definitely solid criticism against it, right? But yeah, I again, it is another example. I was thinking of that as well, like of just a different take on the universe, and like again, like maybe like your girlfriend isn't interested in the wider Marvel universe, but she's interested in this thing, right? Like, oh, all right, I recognize this, and it's got a fun spin to it, and like my boyfriend likes the wider Marvel universe. I'll watch this with him. Right, and then a portion of those people are like, okay, maybe I'll check out the rest. Like that's a good idea. Again, whether it's executed properly is a different thing. But like to Gibbs's point previously, like in terms of like I guess it was your point, Bam. Yeah, it made $1 billion. People kept talking about superhero fatigue, right? Like, oh, superheroes movies are dead. No, they're not. Right? Casually makes $1 billion within a weekend.
Depends.
Like it's nothing.
Depends.
Well, there's two reasons. There's two very important reasons why. Number one, there's a reason because number one, Spider-Man is generationally, like millennial down, is the most popular superhero in the world. Like he's more popular than Batman. He's more popular than Superman. Spider-Man is like the god of superheroes.
Batman?
He is past everyone now.
Maybe.
But it's just a generational thing. But yeah, Spider-Man is the most popular superhero in the world. And number two, they did a smart thing of there's been literally a full year between Marvel movies. Like I think that Marvel was so popular that they started printing them like hotcakes. And there was there was like 3 projects a year. They may not have all been connected, but there was 2 to 3 Marvel movies every year. I think that it hit a point, especially in the pandemic, of like people just choosing what to spend their money on, that they felt like I can't keep doing this. I can't go to every one of them. And you also had a dip in quality. So like I think that they did decide we're rolling back. They did a full year of nothing since what was the last Fantastic Four? Yeah, Fantastic Four was like
which was great
June or
well.
July 15th.
I thought that was good, but it didn't do so well.
It was good, but they also have people were ready to come back out.
They also have the combination factor of marketing that completely highlights what this movie, what makes this movie interesting. Coming off of No Way Home, which was fantastic and heavily amazing movie, and then they're doing a great job marketing Doomsday. So you got it right after No Way Home's like, okay, what does Tom Holland do next after everything that happened at the end of No Way Home? And then will we get anything in regards to Doomsday? It was in the perfect marketing storm. And then the movie came out and it was amazing and everybody keeps on talking about it. And Tom Holland's the GOAT. So
yeah, I got 3 things. It's going to at least hit 1.5 billion. It might hit 2.
I got 3 things here.
Hit 2. Go ahead, sorry.
Yeah, I saw Brand New Day. I don't think it's that great. It's a good movie, but it's not.
So you're to piss me off. All right, let's go.
Come on. We'll get there here.
I haven't seen it.
Yeah, all right. We'll fight about it later. But I don't think it's that great. It's a 4 out of 5. Like I don't have anything that I'm like screaming about it that's terrible. It's just like there's not anything to me that's remarkable compared to some of the other movies we've seen. Part 2 is that I this kind of shares with part 3, but the idea of franchise fatigue. I'm having major flashbacks to 2005 with Star Trek, where we've had some kind of thing on the screen for the better part of the last 15 years, and people are like, oh, look, our ratings are going to shit. We're not having people show up for these kind of things. And it really is. Sometimes you can flood the market, where I agree with Bam on it was, 3 or 4 projects a year where it was TV show, movie. And I think it was too much. On the other hand, is that the quality was dropping, and I don't think it was terrible by any measure. But the issue is that we had the absolute wonderness that was Thor Ragnarok, followed by Infinity War, which is just great. And then you have the disaster that's Endgame, which
okay, so 2 for 2 pissing me off. All right,
you're welcome.
Well, right though.
But you have these like really high points with Infinity War and No Way Home, and then you have these other points that people are like, why can't we hit this again? And I'm like, they couldn't even hit Endgame right. So yeah, like there is consistently
that's crazy.
These parts where they just drop the ball, and I don't blame people for being upset.
And this, my opinion here is, I think, unpopular. I don't think a lot of people share my opinion, which is fine, right? But I didn't like Thor Ragnarok.
Okay,
it's all right. It's all right.
Like,
it was great.
Well, I thought
I'm not attached to Thor Ragnarok, so I don't hate it.
Yeah, it's not the worst, but it's not the greatest either.
What was this? The God Slayer? I forgot the name of the.
That's Love and
Thunder. Oh no, that's Love and Thunder.
Love and Thunder is not good one. Even Ragnarok.
Yeah, Love and Thunder wasn't. Yeah, Love and Thunder was like one of the bottom. That was like
Ragnarok had hella. Ragnarok was good.
So we were leaning to like
the War World or whatever, Planet Hulk. They should have kept that separate and then its own thing, and then kept the Hela, because they combined those two. But Ragnarok's not terrible. Sorry, man.
The thing that made Ragnarok hit is that like Ragnarok introduced like they did the comedy, and they tiptoed the line that was perfect, and people then they thought they're like, oh, okay, this is just gonna be the funny movies then, and then they like made the jokes in bad places, and like Thor: Love and Thunder was like the ultimate case of like this just feels cheap, like you're trying too hard, like the jokes aren't landing, this doesn't work for us. So that's when they had to come back and like sort of like reassess what they were gonna do as more.
The problem with like Love and Thunder, I think the comedy thing was like I didn't, because like they did the whole thing with the kids, and the kids tag team with Thor. It's supposed to be like adorable and whatever. Like I didn't care about any of that shit. Like that lowered the stakes. Thank you. And I thought like the God Slayer again. I don't know what his name is.
The God Butcher.
Thank you. Yeah, go to God Butcher. Thank you so much. But yeah, for Gore, his story in like the comics is super interesting, right? Like this was another chance to have like a deeply memorable villain, right? Where like who's like honestly hurt by the gods, right? And gets you to question it, and we could explore really this whole the concept of gods and what that means. And you could, and if you were really ambitious,
and attaches to Null, they didn't do that either.
Yeah, and if you were ambitious, what you could do, you could relate this idea of like gods being a thing, like confirmed, right, to like how that's looked at on Earth. There's so many ways you could have made this like a really deep movie. They just went the complete opposite way, and like the Gore just like didn't make sense. His level ability, his powers,
his sword appeared out of nowhere.
Well, yeah, and then Hercules is supposed to be another guy coming in, and it's like, wait a minute, if this guy's supposed to like fight Thor at any reasonable level, and Thor wiped out his daddy with one throw, what?
Well, they introduce characters all the time that they end up not actually using. That's just a tester. They're like, how do people feel about this? Yeah, they did that with Black Knight. They did that with at the end of
that one too.
They did that. Like they introduce characters, and then they just see a vibe like, oh, do we need to make a movie regarding this? And then they just like, oh, okay, this didn't do that well.
Yeah, but Black Knight with the blade tease was the most hype thing about the fucking Eternals.
And then we almost forgot about it. It did so poorly that I think I had to erase it from memory. Oh God, what came right around the same time? No, I like Marvels. I like the Marvels actually. It came right around the time. No,
was it? I think I know what you're talking about. Was it Doctor Strange 2?
Yes. No, Quantumania. Doctor Strange 2 wasn't good too, but yeah, Quantumania was such a bad movie. And then because you're like, okay, we're introducing Kang the Conqueror, and then we're not really introducing. He introduced him in Loki, but like,
and then apparently he's not even
bad. And then like after Jonathan had his issues, Jonathan Majors, they're like, okay, we just have to figure something out. The reason I think that there's a chance that Doom, it's hype again. People have had a window of like they're cooled off, they're ready for another big Marvel project, but they just had to pivot to Doom so quickly, and Doom is the most popular villain. Well, definitely in Marvel, probably the second most popular in fiction after the Joker. They just kind of had to throw him out there.
Well, yeah, and if they actually do some of the storylines like Captain
because they couldn't set him up. This is just a pivot. They're just like, oh, we have to do Doom now.
The best storyline in that fucking show that they like basically said wasn't canon or what was the one with the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is the one where it's fucking they do the alt world where they're all like evil like Hydra people. So if like they do something similar to that with Captain Hydra, sure. But if they like go, oh, it's like, you know, setting up, oh, I'm just Steve nowadays shit. Like, yeah, that's good for Anthony Mackie, but that's not great for the fucking I want some fucking like plot. You know, I went into like somebody out of nowhere, be like, "Hail Hydra," and be like, you know, "Oh shit, Captain America's not on their side." Like, you know,
reason Thanos worked is because all seven, like all the previous movies attached back to like the Infinity Saga was such a long buildup. It's the reason we were excited when we finally got to Thanos. Like, people like comic fans understand what Doctor Doom means, but like casuals are gonna be like, "Oh, okay, I know about Doctor Doom. He's a Fantastic Four villain," but like he's technically supposed to be the biggest.
He's so much more than that.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, like, when it comes to, like, to Marvel, right? Like, they went from like Thor, Iron Man. Each of them had their own movie, which gave them kind of a chance to do a backstory for all of them, right? But then when DC tried to do like their own thing, when they tried to do like, you know, Batman, Aquaman, Justice League, you know, it was fine. But then they did Suicide Squad and they tried to do everybody's backstory into one fucking movie, and it was just terrible. The Suicide Squad was so much better.
That's what they did with the Eternals.
Yep. Too. Well, like the Suicide Squad, no, it's okay. It's your show, dude. You can interrupt whatever. But like the Suicide Squad was so much better because they actually put a plot line in there where you didn't like have to learn about all the characters. You kind of learned about them along the way. But the thing is, like, they didn't invest because, like, you learned a lot about Harley Quinn. You learned a lot about fucking, what's it called? What's his face? Not Bloodsport, but fucking Will Smith's character. Yeah, Will Smith's character. You learned about all their backstories. But the thing is, like, they all then like kind of came together and like the Flamers, like, oh yeah, we're all a family. It's like, dude, they rushed and like. What was it like? It was such a really bad plot point where like fucking.
Even the first Suicide Squad is better than a lot of the Marvel shit.
I'm about to say it did really well. I think that's still DC's best project.
Well, I wouldn't watch the first.
The second one is better.
Well, yeah, but the first one, even though everybody's like that was dog shit, but that one came out during the era of like peak Marvel. But if you go back and rewatch the second one, but if you go back and rewatch it, it's actually not as bad as some of the recent Marvel.
Enchantress stood there while her brother's getting
the recent Marvel. I was
like, oh, stop it! She should have just stepped in and shit. Like, they could have killed everybody.
I agree. Don't worry. Well, she already gave up some of her power.
It was just bad writing. Like writing.
I'll be honest.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna be honest, making the claim that the first Suicide Squad is better than Fantastic Four, better than Spider-Man.
I don't know about Fantastic Four,
and better than what was the one? Thunderbolts. Insane.
Thunderbolts is overrated for sure.
I haven't
you can say that. You can say that the first Suicide Squad sucks. So
I mean, it wouldn't have got a second one if it sucked. People actually really enjoyed the concept of Suicide.
No, they rebooted
it. They enjoyed the concept. The movie is not. You can enjoy a concept in a movie.
Yeah, they graded it.
It's not a reboot.
It was a soft.
It is a reboot.
It's a soft reboot.
They rebooted Suicide Squad because they're so bad.
They can't reboot the concept is you're supposed to get different heroes each time.
Yep.
They rebooted the movie for sure. What do you mean?
They're saying they're like, it
is a soft reboot though, man. They actually changed some of them heavy more.
If anything needs to get rebooted, but if anything needs to get rebooted, they need to erase all the sequel Star Wars movie and go to the Yuzon Vong War, honestly, because holy shit!
Oh my god!
Yeah.
Preach! Now we can do that, or give the grifts, whatever. We can talk about it later.
Yeah.
So I'll just say this, and we can move on and get started. But like, I it's obligatory for me. Okay, right? Every time it gets brought up, I gotta say it because it still pisses me. Like, I literally get like bummed about it to this day. Right? When people bring up Kang, because Kang is actually a fascinating villain. He's a fascinating villain, right? Like, he has one of the most convoluted backstories like in comic history. Like, if you want, you can make a case that he has the most convoluted backstory in all of comic history, and that's saying something. That's like a huge statement, right? And and so what Marvel was doing a good job of, I think, was like presenting like this strangeness with this character that like he doesn't operate like any other character does. Like he almost operates like like a Mr. Mistleplick, right? Like someone that's like out of time, and he like he like sees everything, and he kind of like sees the audience to a certain extent. He sees like, you know, he is like a unique being, and so I was like really excited for the storyline, for like the possibilities as to what you could do with him, right? I liked a lot of the build up. I think, you know, like the criticisms of Quantumania like still like quite stand, right? But seeing
Loki exists
of this, but what
Loki 1 and Loki 2, yeah, that's very important to King's story.
Oh yeah, but my point is just that like I really liked I like this idea of this villain because he just had all these different incarnations. There's so much you can do with the same guy, right? But like different versions of himself, and like leaves you wondering, how did he turn into this version? How did he turn? It's so
yeah.
fun,
And how are they going to do
And-
Apocalypse without Kang though? Is what I want to know. Like Apocalypse is supposed to be the next.
That's pretty easy. You don't need. I know what you're saying, that like he's part of the backstory there, but you don't really need him. Like that.
Well,
part,
they're like the critics. Like, well, they're like different. Well, even further than that, there's different I mean, time periods where they like actually like they like run up and they have different time empires and shit.
I thought they dropped Apocalypse as a project.
No, the Apocalypse is coming back.
I thought Apocalypse was.
No, he's coming. They said the plan might be Apocalypse for the next phase after.
I kind of hope. Apocalypse is my favorite villain in Marvel, and I love him so much.
He's hard to write.
Years. But like,
well,
yeah,
they're about to reboot the verse.
Fox fucked it up so badly. I don't know. Maybe
but they also did Dark Phoenix 2 times, so whatever.
Yeah, fair enough. And so, last thing I'll say, like, is that the thing that not only did like I'm mad that they missed out on Kang, but like I'm mad that like they just decided to toss it away. If there is any character, if there's one character you can recast, right, and let it make sense within the lore, it's Kang. Kang literally shows up, like he is Kang, but he's a different person. You're like, how could that possibly be? That's Kang. That's what he does, right? like they'll rip off the mask and it'll be a completely different person. So you could literally just cast like another black guy. It would have been weird to like cast a white guy, maybe, like because that might have thrown audience off too much, right? But at the very least, yes, another black actor. You could just rip off the mask, and that could just be. It's lore accurate. You could have just done that, and it.
Who would you pick? Of a similar, because the other thing is it has to be an A-lister. It's Marvel. Marvel deals with A-listers. Who do you think? I don't
think it does have to be an A-lister.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm just saying your opinion, but I'm saying like factually, Marvel.
I mean, Jonathan Myers was an A-lister.
Tom Holland was not an A-lister when he became Spider-Man.
Yeah, neither was Jonathan Myers before he became.
Tom Holland was not an A-lister.
Tom Holland was an A-lister. Yeah, absolutely right.
At all.
I would even say Jonathan Myers was an A-lister before Kang.
I wouldn't call him an A-lister. I'll call him
like a high B or C or something, but like I'd never heard of him before, and I went rewatch the shit because I was like, "Who's this guy?" You know.
Honestly, a lot of the people before they became who they became were not A-listers. A lot of
them. Yeah.
So
I mean, I agree.
So we can get started now, but like I just want I have no idea, so I don't have the insight into Hollywood to have like a good casting.
I don't think Hollywood has the insight to Hollywood either. So, company.
I don't like we got to recast enough T'Challa's son. I guess it's technically just T'Challa, but it's T'Challa's son. I'm happy with that.
I've had this conversation a lot lately, but I don't think that the biggest problem with Hollywood right now is actually its writing. I think there's a massive problem with the executives wanting to basically have the old safe roles, but they don't want to do the philanthropy. Kind of like what Marvel was doing, where they had the successful Infinity Saga, and so they're like, "All right, cool. We've racked up a shitload of money. We've got a whole bunch of things under our belt. Let's diversify. Let's throw out some stuff." So they did WandaVision. They did fucking Hawkeye, which ended up being a disappointment. But I don't blame them for trying. The problem is there's so many of these goddamn studios who they write these massive checks for $100 million a movie, and they're only willing to do 3 of them at a time. And the reality is that as many successes as we've had a lot of failures in Hollywood. Like Columbia is now part of is now a Sony company. The entire industry is going through a consolidation phase at the same time that you have the Georgia film scene and AI coming in, and it's completely fucking with how the industry works.
Well, that's because like the movies cost so much to make, and then they flop in box office, so they don't make money. So it's like, yeah, it's
what is that?
Anything that's not connected to a major IP, typically. That's why like Obsession is such a shocker. People only go see big IPs.
Well, you say that. You say that, but like, so what was that studio that's like there's a problem I have. Like, so I think it's
A24.
That is Coraline. It's like an animation studio, right? The guy who owns that, he bought it for his son. He just wastes money, and they write amazing movies.
Ellison,
right?
You're talking about Paramount,
yeah. They write amazing movies. They don't do well box office, but the guy didn't care. It's a passion product for his kid. He's happy, right? Then I go and watch something like, and I just watched this weekend, was Tyler Perry's Temptation, right? Chick flick. By the way, men. You should take all your women to go watch Temptation. I don't know how Tyler Perry pulled this shit off. Outstanding with his shit. Or you should just rent it. I think it was a 10-year-old film. But the ending, hilarious. Like it's definitely made for dudes. But Tyler Perry has made millions off of making his own characters outside the studio, like kind of industry, right? Like he's done his own thing, And so like I think that like if you make a decent product, like Medea's fucking hilarious. Every one of them. Right, they're all fucking pretty funny. Temptation, solid chick flick. Some of his other shit. What was that shooting movie he came out with not too long? It was a decent budget action film.
Tyler Perry isn't really like the go-to for like great,
Tyler Perry. Wait a minute, we don't like people don't understand that Tyler Perry is the most successful director of all time.
That's right.
He's about to say he's more successful.
Well, we understand that.
No, they're making him making a lot of money and him making great. I didn't say he's the
best. I said he's the most successful.
You're not going to go you're not going to go there and be like, A24 made the best movie ever. But you're going to go, I leave and I wonder what happened after. You're going to Tyler Perry movie.
A24 makes some good movies.
Yeah, sure. But if I go watch a Tyler Perry movie, I'm not going to be like, wow, that was the worst thing I ever watched. I'm going to be like, yeah, it was solid. It was an entertaining movie, and I'll probably never watch it again.
They probably made the best horror movie of the 21st century.
Civil War was pretty good too. Like they made some pretty decent just movies.
You're talking about that.
We can move on.
Yeah, what kind of American are you, Ollie? What kind of American?
They'd get me fucking quick out of there. I wouldn't have made it far in that movie.
Nah, you didn't fine. I'm going down to Texas.
I think it's interesting. I have differing opinions on Tyler Perry, but that's okay. That's okay, right? I like anything to bring closer to Black culture, right?
I very much love all my multi-ethnic people in America. The secret to our street.
Is Tyler Perry multi-ethnic?
He's not white.
No, he's saying
did you say that Tyler Perry was the most successful?
He did. I was trying to wonder what that metric was.
Yeah, he owns everything
by money. Tyler Perry, like from studio ownership. Tyler Perry makes everything that come from his movie.
Yeah, he owns everything.
Are you just talking like amongst black directors, or are you talking amongst?
No, because the reason why I say that is because
I'm pretty sure Tyler Perry's made more.
Yeah, because he owns his studio. His overhead's lower.
He's more successful than him. Black who owns their own studio.
Well, I'm looking right here at the list, and apparently he is about 200th. Steven Spielberg is number one.
No. That's because the metrics they're judging on is like great film. He's
white man's metrics. Those are white man's metrics.
Bam is saying in terms of like money, owning a studio, owning like in terms of success. He owns his studio. He owns.
I think Steven Spielberg is more successful by any metric.
Does he own the studio that he works at?
I mean, he's made 3, right? He's made Amblin. He's made fucking this is a really hard one for me. Spielberg's great. For me, it's Chris Nolan.
He's number 3.
But you're talking about art.
Number 3.
Right? You're talking about art.
What about Lucas? Where's Lucas?
Art, but also like if you're going by just
Lucas has got to be the richest one of the 4 you mentioned.
I'm talking about just band for band. Dollars for dollars.
27. George Lucas is number 27.
This list is trash.
All right, Ollie,
if we're going by just success, like money-wise,
but you're not understanding.
No, ownership. I would say.
Yeah, look, I'm sorry. These people have like, I'm confused here, right? So Steven Spielberg has a production company. And I don't know why we're measuring in terms of like whether or not you own it. Wouldn't the whole thing be like overall money?
No,
including the value. Because I'm looking right here. So Tyler Perry's entire net worth, including all of his assets, is 1.4 billion, which is a lot of fucking money. Don't get me wrong, but this is like a fraction of some of these other people.
Who's more successful, the partner or the owner of the firm?
Yeah,
Lactoid. Depends how much money. Steven Spielberg was worth 7.1 billion. He's worth 7 times that of Tyler Perry.
Yeah, but like if you're a great partner, right, like you make money for this firm, but I own the firm. I'm more successful than you by just like I don't. Yeah, what do you?
No.
Make me money. I don't do anything.
No, this is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. I could go out. I could go tomorrow and just found an LLC. Now I'm more successful because I own the LLC. But if I was an associate at a top law firm in America, I would be more successful.
For me, the fact that you're the top lawyer working for me, you're my underling, shows that I'm more successful than you.
If you're the top, if you hold a management position at like a top law firm, sure. But Tyler Perry's production studio doesn't like employ Steven Spielberg.
I think he also. Hold on.
I got this. I can watch this.
This conversation got
Who's crazy?
Is there a bigger studio in the world? Tyler Perry studio.
What are the two best lawyers of all time potentially? It's Johnny Cochran and who? What's the other guy? The Kardashian, right? They're arguably two of the best ones, right? Because their skills. How are they more successful than Morgan and Morgan? No, they're absolutely not more successful than Morgan & Morgan. Morgan & Morgan's got branches everywhere. Why? Morgan & Morgan basically owns a fucking ambulance chaser, and they have
volume.
Industry.
That's why Morgan & Morgan is
okay. Right now, here's the other thing with Morgan & Morgan. What do?
What about J.G. Wentworth? J.G. Wentworth got
I'm sure they're
they stand that shit. There's not quality. It's that they own the means of production. They own the advertising. You go in there. So Tyler Perry, he's producing shit very low. And he's making a large amount of money for a least amount of production value. It's called efficiency.
It's called making shitty products, right? Like
the Walmart method.
Like he just sits down and just like writes the script.
It's the Shaquille O'Neal method.
Like, writes the scripts and he just like repeats the same goddamn tropes over and over and over again. And
he does them
badly. I'm sorry, Mom. No, but so there's such a complicated discussion about Tyler Perry. But anyway, I'm not here to have that conversation. But no, I think what Lactoid's saying here is interesting, right? Like, again, because Lactoid's only interested in the white man's heuristics.
The white man.
I have not seen a single Tyler Perry movie.
This thing is Lucas.
Wait. Was White Chicks Tyler Perry?
No.
I saw that one.
That's the Wayans.
That's the Wayans brothers.
Okay, it's okay.
Yeah, they all.
Yes. They all look the same. All directors.
Even when they're white folks, they look the same.
It's over the top. Race bending, gender bending. Yeah. I thought, maybe it was Tyler Perry.
You thought the Wayans and the Perry family were the same family?
Yes.
Lactoid also told me that he thought that. Get Out was by Tyler Perry as well. So
yes.
I believe it.
And the Wayans brothers, they all work together on that.
What I specifically mean by this is Tyler Perry owns the largest movie studio, I think, on the planet, and he doesn't.
Oh, Lucasfilms.
I'm talking about square footage. I think he owns 330 acres.
If we're going by size, maybe I'm not sure if that would measure success.
Whatever.
Well,
that's most successful.
The King Ranch is the biggest one they film movies there.
I'm saying he has 100% ownership of the largest movie studio
on the planet. This is ridiculous.
And he doesn't.
You said successful.
I'm still talking. He doesn't need.
Yeah, it might be geographically the largest. I don't know. It's possible.
I don't know why.
Let him finish his metrics of success.
I'm saying that Tyler Perry doesn't get funding or doesn't get approval from other studio to make a project. He makes whatever he wants.
He's the
whenever
boss.
he wants, and he makes 100% profits from it. What he does is unprecedented in the film game. Like there's no profit sharing within anything Tyler Perry does, and that's unique. Like they say that I think this is like within the movie.
Not a single APAC dollar.
Within the movie realm, they talk about that. They're like, "Oh, okay, he doesn't have to go see."
No, that's debatable, Ollie. That's more like
he does whatever he wants to do. Like, I'm about to say, what's the movie, The Gambler? Like FU money. Like when you get some FU money, Tyler Perry is FU.
I do not deny that Tyler Perry is rich. He is much richer than me, and he will always be much richer than me. No, I reject your metric of the most successful director.
Than Spielberg,
okay?
Too.
No, he's not richer than Spielberg.
Probably.
Yeah.
No,
wait. So you're
not.
It's
not even close.
Yeah, I'm with Bam here.
Spielberg's money isn't just from movies, film though. He makes money off of I think he has an ownership stake in like Universal Studios.
Like, wait, I thought when you said the statement, I thought you were referring to only black directors. If you're saying he's the most successful director of all time, I don't agree with that.
He might, surely he's the most successful black director. I'll just accept that without even looking into it.
And
but he is.
I agree with that
Steven
part.
Spielberg is. I'm sorry, like he's crazy, right? I mean, I'm looking at this. I'm looking at this. I'm looking at this list. Michael Bay is like number 6. He's significantly above Tyler Perry.
Yeah, but you listed sus because one, it has Lucas at 27. He's richer than most of these people and independent. And secondly, Lucas and Spielberg don't have careers without each other. So like they can't be independently the most successful.
Yeah, I would rather be in Spielberg's position. Like let's say that like
he's got more money than God.
Bam is saying that like, hey, well, Tyler Perry doesn't need. There's no one above him in a chain, right? Like Tyler Perry wants to make a project. Tyler Perry like moves finances, and then the project appears, right? Like, and so he doesn't have to like talk to some studio head or whatever, right? He just does it. So like,
he's like Elon Musk.
Okay, sure. I can actually I can accept that because fuck Elon Musk too. Sure. But anyway,
you don't like Tyler Perry.
I can accept that, but like, I would rather be. This is to Lackwood's point, right?
Suck.
I would rather be the lawyer within like the massive law firm, right? Who gets to like use the private jet, who gets to like all those perks and benefits within a pre-existing structure. Like I'm like not like was it the I'm one of the junior partners or whatever, right? I don't know, right?
Yeah.
Like I'd rather be that person.
Senior partner if you're Spielberg.
Senior partner. Senior partner. Yeah, senior partner, right? Yeah. So he's a senior partner, but like he didn't like create like the law firm. Law firm is pre-existing in this point, right? But anyway, the point is that like I'd rather be that than the other guy who owns his own thing, right? But like
$1 billion put
out like yeah.
Okay. Oh, are you just gonna say you like Steven Spielberg's movies?
But he gets paid more money. Steven Spielberg is a billion times more successful.
Probably not.
Yeah, but he's not independent.
He pays more money, but I don't think he makes that money from film. Again, he has ownership, like he has like stocks, he has ownership stakes.
Well,
he has
Industrial Light Magic.
But when we're talking about success for a director, we have to. It's about what he does as a director. All this other superficial stuff doesn't matter.
That's not what I'm talking about.
But that's when you're talking about Steven Spielberg. You're going to make a lot of that.
We can look at his gross. I'm sure we looked at his grossing, his grosses, right? That Steven Spielberg completely outstrips Tyler Perry, right?
Yeah. Okay, I got the list right here. I got the list right here. Okay, sure. Steven Spielberg at 5.3 billion, George Lucas at 5 billion, Peter Jackson at 1.7 billion, Tyler Perry at 1.4 billion, James Cameron 800 million, Michael Bay 450 million. This is all net worth. So this is according to IMDb.com.
I think Bam and I are saying though is not necessarily just the money thing, right? Okay.
Yeah.
One. If I want to grant Lucas and Spielberg, right? They can't be independent of each other.
Do they own their movies?
Well, Lucas definitely does. Well, not anymore. Lucas doesn't. But like he owns Industrial Light Magic. He owned Lucasfilm for a while. I think it's important. Here's the thing that I think Bam and I are both kind of saying, right? If I was a director, right? Let's use Robert Rodriguez as an example, right? He made the Desperado series in San Antonio on the first budget, like $8,000, famously, right? Wildly successful for the run. The second one he made for like $250K, and it was one of the most successful movies of that period, right? And then he made Once Upon a Time in Mexico, and it was not as good as the other two, but still successful. And then he went independent, got hired by all sorts of people, right? This guy made this on his own. What is more impressive? If I'm Spielberg, and I go and make a movie for Indiana Jones, working for MGM, where I have all the backing, and I only have to put a partial into it. Or if I make a movie on $250K, and I'm able to produce it, it's now millions and millions, right? What is the scale of success then?
No. Again, this is why I was trying to. I didn't get to finish my thought, right? Like yes, Tyler Perry can decide to put out his trash movies, right, on a shoestring budget, barely paying his actors, right? That's the whole thing. And how he treats his actors. It's pretty
sure Marvel movies are also filmed at his studio.
But I don't know about that. You'll have to. I don't know. But I'd rather be Steven Spielberg, who, right? Yes, he does have to talk to someone, right? He has to get someone approval. But Steven Spielberg can walk in with a level of gravitas.
No one's saying no to Spielberg.
pretty much every project that you want to make, he's going to make, and he's going to have way more funding and backing to get that thing done, right?
People consider him the GOAT.
Spielberg only says, here's the word no, if like whatever he's proposing is like plainly like insane, right? Short of that, he gets no. So I would rather have almost all freedom, total freedom, right, with incredible backing behind me, than total freedom with far less resources. Yeah, so I'm with
everybody wants to be Tarantino.
What's the budget for a movie? What movie do you think Tyler Perry couldn't film? Again, I guess I'm pretty sure, like, he's not depending on the funding. But I'm pretty sure that like every Marvel movie you watch, there's like all these big budgets, they happen in his studios. Like, what
I don't
movie
know
do you
about
think
that.
Look, Tyler Perry could probably.
Damn, you didn't look up that fact the whole time he was talking.
Tyler Perry.
Well, arguably Tarantino is one of the greatest directors of our generation. You know how much he's worth? $120 million.
Wow, what a loser.
Yeah, but we're not calling him the most successful. We're just saying he has the best movie quality. The successful
Black Panther was filmed in Tyler Perry Studios.
It needs
Civil
the
War,
money
Captain
in
America
order to be
Civil War was
successful.
filmed in this facility. Like,
we're not trying to like.
Nothing to do with him being a director, though.
We're not trying to.
Prom's arguing that there's movies that he doesn't have the backing to make. I'm saying.
Bam.
Riddell. Also, him being a director is what got him to being the studio head and the studio owner. You don't get to be that without being the director. But that speaks to his ability to be like I mean.
Okay, well, Steven Spielberg can sell action figures because he made Star Wars. Then
one of the most successful filmmakers would is probably a little bit better because or studio houses, production houses.
Hey, just say one of the most successful people in the film industry, because I'm not giving you filmmaker either. So
what about production house? What about production house?
I don't know that. I don't know.
Not even production at Lucasfilms is above. Yeah. Like you cannot point to me a single metric. No, there's not a single metric. And then look, I agree. I'm not trying to like shit on Tyler Perry too much. I think Tyler Perry's like pretty impressive. But if you compare him to Spielberg, right? So first of all, Spielberg can walk in anywhere and get basically any movie that he wants made if he so chooses. He's Steven Spielberg. But here's the thing: he's got 7 times the net worth of Tyler Perry. If he wanted to, he could tomorrow create a production company that has like 2 times the amount of overall like resources that Tyler Perry has in total, and make whatever film he so chooses. This guy owns.
Look at profit margin.
Or are we going to talk about what they make from the movie?
I'm talking about a filmmaker. I'm talking about Steven Spielberg.
Hold on. Look at profit margins, Here's the metric, though. Here's the metric that's key, right? Look at the money that like James Cameron, Spielberg, Lucas put in, and let's look at something that's outside of this for that comparison. Look at Games Workshop, right? They're kind of a niche, like whatever $40K thing. Their margins are massive. They're selling plastic that makes a shitload of money for whatever. They're niche. This is kind of what we're arguing with, like what Bam and I are arguing, is the profit margins for what he's doing, since he owns the means of production, are much better.
You're waking Tiberius up.
I'm gonna kill him now.
James
Workshop is one of the best companies to never emulate because
they're
seriously
massive. They're doing so good.
They are massive.
Also, my
because
with it is fantastic.
Shut up for a second. GW is massive, but they are massive off of the efforts of everybody they've licensed their shit out to. Because GW has been
so they're successful.
They are successful. But GW, you don't want to emulate, because if you have your own IP and you are constantly driving it into the ground to the point where literally the only time people talk good about your IP is from something that somebody else made, you have a huge problem.
But hold on a second. That's not their model. That's not their model. Their model is the exact same model that I have for my leather company. Is they're a niche market with high fucking margins that they protect their niche, and then they license everything out. I know it's been doing so good the last couple of weeks, and now it's not. And so what you're arguing is like it's profitability and protection of their IP. They've actually sat there with Amazon Studios and been very adamant about the lore stuff. They've been very they want to change stuff. Now there's been a few they've given on, like the Femstones, but they've been very adamant about protecting their IP for decades. They sue creators, all sorts of shit. And so I don't know if I agree with you on their protected IP. I think they've done a well job, and I think they're a perfect analogy to Tyler Perry.
Different conversations.
I can end this to this. Electory. Would you?
Back to the main topic.
Would you argue? Would you? No. Okay. If I just need you to take back the 200th comment, would you put top 5
in terms of like success? It depends on how you're measuring like success. If you're measuring it strictly in terms of personal net worth, I'd probably give you top 10. If we're talking about in terms of like creating the highest grossing films of all time, he's 200th.
No, yeah, I'm not talking about what in any individual movie made. I'm talking about everything from the beginning to the end of the movie work.
Because his
I was about to say because everything I've read has seen him his wealth he's made from film. Because like I said, I don't care if Elon Musk makes a film tomorrow. I'm not going to call him the wealthiest filmmaker. Like I'm saying, money made from film.
Well, right, it'd be film. It'd be film. Which he's still not the first, even if we just limit it to that. But I think that if we're gonna, if you're gonna count like the successes of people using a studio as that happened as a direct result of his filmmaking, I think it'd also be fair to like categorize all the merchandise that flowed from like all of Spielberg's films, including all of Jurassic Park.
I'm not arguing at one right now. I'm saying because you started at 200. I'm saying, are we saying top 3, top 5 actually? Because like I'm looking at the numbers.
Yeah, if we're talking raw net wealth, raw net worth, like personal individual net worth, probably.
Well, I mean, James Cameron revolutionized it. He invented new tech.
That's a different claim, though. That's a different claim.
I mean,
success in the film industry would be a more appropriate claim.
Who's got more billion-dollar movies?
Let me ask you. Let me ask this though, because part of net worth, I agree, it's like a metric you can look at, but it's like and it's not the best metric, and here's why. This is like a hypothetical here. You could have a director who's just terrible with fucking money, which I mean, a celebrity bad with money, I wouldn't imagine that. Who can make incredibly good movies that make a shit ton of money, but they themselves have a lower net worth than, let's say, somebody who is very smart with their ownership and like creates like mainline production.
That's what we're saying.
And hold on. And so if you're talking about like this director makes more movies that get more eyes, that make more money, you're going to say he's less successful than somebody who's just better at saving their money? I don't know.
Yeah, but it's also who's starting from where. Like Lucas started out with like being friends with Spielberg off the jump. Tyler Perry broke into the industry.
That's another metric you can look at.
Guys,
that's fair.
I do want to talk about the main topic.
Yeah, right. I think we got it.
By the way, one more thing I want to say about Tyler Perry. Sorry. Part of the reason I haven't seen any of his movies, now I've learned, is
good work.
The trailers seem absurd. No. The trailers seem absurd. Look, I am somebody who's watched The Wire 3 times over. I got no problem watching shows with black people in it. I just don't like to watch a trailer comes up and it's just like,
but you would relate so much.
Like super cheesy. All of a sudden it's like it's someone in drag. Like,
but in the same way you related to The Wire, you would relate to most Tyler Perry films. They speak to your inner soul, Lactoid.
Yeah, I would never judge somebody, judge you for that. Like, he doesn't make his movies for everybody. And I think he says as much. His movies have a target audience.
I mean, he makes it.
Why Did I Get Married is pretty good.
He makes it.
Temptation is the ultimate god chick flick.
He makes it for a certain segment of black women, and then he tells black women that they're shit. Like those are the tropes. They're like, "Oh, you're bad," and then the only men who are worth it are light-skinned men. Dark-skinned men are actually like abusive, and like these are all tropes, and
they're evil.
I should check them out.
Yeah, you should watch. If you like Temptation, you should watch Acrimony. It was like the sequel kind of.
Yeah, I will check it out. I mean, I thought I liked it just because it was like, damn, fuck these fucking hoes. That ending is peak karma. Like that. Listen, women. I've had a lot of friends recently call me to be a lot of drama. I guess Mercury's in retrograde. Guess what? It's funny. Tyler Perry nailed the ending of your life.
That might have been the one I saw. I've seen I think one, maybe two of them. And that might have been the one I saw. But like, I had a different opinion if we're talking about the same movie. But like again, all the movies are like copy paste. So I don't know, man. It's not.
They are all the same movie.
Well, if you have a good model, why change it? I mean, everybody likes Chili's.
Wow.
Gibbs, if you don't, Gibbs, I don't know if you know that, but the actress in that, Journey Smollett, is Jussie Smollett's sister.
I did know that, and she's a bad bitch. She can call me anytime if you're watching this.
I'm
sure she will.
Coming out of Admiral Gibbs's mouth. Okay. So thanks all. Shout out to our friend Bam, who started us down this path. I was like, oh, we're just gonna talk a little bit about Spider-Man for a second, and then it kept escalating. I didn't think we wrangle Lactoid in here, but like there was a factoid he could prove wrong, and so then of course he like Googled.
Well, no, we rage baited him with the.
Look, I don't want people to take away the successes and achievements of the most underprivileged group, Jews.
Well. No, this was a plan when I brought Tyler Perry up. I knew that Lactoid couldn't resist attacking the 13% of the population. I'm just
I'm defending the 2%. Spielberg, Gibbs. You're kind of coming across a little bit Hamas to me right now. What's going on?
I like Spielberg too. I'm just saying, he's coming in on a step up already. He's got AIPAC backing him already. He's already got the check.
All right, Prime. Do you want to boot the topic up, or I'm going to scream at Gibbs for his terrible GW take?
Let's move it up.
GW later. Started. But this was a lot of fun. This preamble was actually a lot of fun. And it was a little different than what I usually do. So again, shout out to my friend Bam for bringing that up. And shout out to the group because I got a good group of individuals. We can always find a reason to yell at each other. So you guys are fantastic. But yeah, so this is every roundtable. We should have Mondays 8 p.m. Eastern or whenever we actually decide to get started. We've got a fantastic group of individuals here, and we're going to introduce them in a second. But if you enjoyed that, right, if you enjoyed that introduction, consider following the channel. That's already, right? Follow on whatever platform you are. And then consider supporting the channel. YouTube super chats are great. We'll discuss your YouTube super chats, make a whole big thing about it. It'll be fantastic. You'll love it. We'll love it. And I consider getting the monetary membership thing. So either that on YouTube or on Twitch, right? Like consider supporting the channel in a way that you can. All right, but we'll get started. We'll go through intros here in a second. So the topic is a recent article states that Trump will certainly attempt to steal the 2026 midterm elections. It then lays out strategies that he may employ, including voter roll purges. Since the 2020 elections, Trump has endlessly brought up the idea that he was robbed of victory. He has expended a great amount of money and effort to try to prove his case. Do you think it is reasonable to believe Trump would engage in election interference? Do you think the article makes a good case that Trump is preparing to do so? And do you think it's likely that Trump will seek a third term? So to be clear, there's two different things, two different cases of interference that I'm asking about, right? So there's the midterm elections that are going to be coming up soon, but there's also the 2028 elections, right? So do you think that he would engage in election fraud here? You think he would? Well, a question that I didn't ask, right? But do you think even voter purges is a problem, right? Because many of our many Republicans have made the case that the voter rolls are filled with ineligible voters or dead people, and people are voting twice or stuff, right? So if you believe that, then purging the rolls isn't interference, right? It's just like good governance. So I guess we should define that as well. But yeah, so I want to see because this keeps coming up, right? We dance around this subject every so often. I want to see where people are at. Do you really still believe that? Is Trump likes to joke? He likes to make all kinds of jokes about what he'll do in the future. You know what I mean? All kind of crazy, right? But is he just joking, or is he serious? So yeah, we'll cover all that. Start for our friend Lactoid, work our way around.
Do you just want to do intro or introductions, or should we do also the
opening statements? Yeah, opening statements and intros.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Lactoid, find me at Lactoid TV, Twitch, Twitter, and YouTube. So my position on this is that the article is, I want to call it bunk, but the thing is, the article admits basically throughout the entirety of it as to why the fear, the kind of initial fear mongering that the title and the initial introduction paragraph stoke don't actually mean anything and don't actually follow through. So we can just address, I guess, the straightforward thing. So The article appears to, really focus on, I think, three major kind of sources of potential interference in the midterms, which would be, federal thugs coming down and messing with voters, asking for voter rolls, asking for proof, et cetera, and that this could create some kind of deterrent or fear amongst voters. The second is the states vote to delay any kind of like voter certification. And then the third one would be that the Congress, either House of Congress themselves, decide who to, they can remove potentially the Democrats if they so win the election. I'm going to argue that the latter two of these points, the article just straight up admits aren't going to happen. The article admits that it's not the old congressional makeup that makes any kind of determination to expel a member or censure a member. It's the new one coming in, which would include any Democrats that win the election. And that if there was an attempt at some kind of, in the words of the article, bad faith reading of law, that the courts would be able to take a look at this. And the article admits that the courts would be able to take a look at this anyway, because there is case law indicating that, yes, the courts can take a look at how Congress can adjudicate allowing certain members in. There's a very specific case, Powell versus McCormick, Supreme Court, very straightforward, and states that. So yeah, so that's not like a reasonable fear here. The state delays, the article admits that the courts will be able to act on that quickly, and in fact point out that the courts have been incredibly vigorous when it comes to acting on any kind of election issue leading up to the midterms. So, okay, now the remaining one that the article brings up. What about this kind of Republican paranoia about voter security causing some people to be afraid because maybe there's going to be election monitors that are going to show up and take a look at stuff. This is possible in theory. I don't know what the actual stats would be on this. It's theoretically possible that, yeah, when you have people like looking into this, maybe some people are going to be more afraid, like, oh, what if they think I did something wrong when I didn't? But I'm going to just straight up get the party going, and I think Democrats are to blame for this. In March of this year, there was a continuing resolution proposal to add photo ID as a requirement to vote. This was proposed by Senator John Husted of Ohio. And despite the fact that Schumer said that he was in favor of voter ID, the kind of voter ID that was included here on this amendment, which he's going to deny that, but when you look at the actual amendment, it's very straightforward and very simple. Him and the Democrats voted against it. So you have them saying one thing but doing another. They're saying, yes, we support voter ID. The reason they're saying this is because 83% of Americans support voter ID. But then when it comes time to actually vote on it, to actually create the confidence around elections to discredit any kind of election paranoia, they just refuse to do it. Despite there being no serious evidence that voter ID would cause any kind of like significant issues voting for any one particular demographic. It's not there. So why? Why is it the case? Well, unknown. Part of it maybe they're trying to appeal to a specific, interest groups, voter bases, perhaps. I don't know what it is, but those groups are comparatively very small compared to what most Americans want, 83%. And then broadly, I mean, besides this one specific incident, which I think is like the most egregious of what's going on, like why can't you just back voter ID? It's the simplest thing. I mean, generally speaking, ballot harvesting, I think, has issues that Democrats are refusing to address, and some reasonable limits on mail-in voting. I voted by mail. It seems to be like surprisingly easy. If I was so criminally inclined, I probably could like do fraud on this and probably get away with it. I don't know. It seems like a little bit of like a potential problem there that could generate paranoia around the elections. Yeah, just be serious if you don't want people to be skeptical or be paranoid about elections, and pass simple safeguards, especially ones in which 83% of Americans support. Finally, Democrats pose the actual threat with the threats of packing the court. I don't know if you guys saw Kamala Harris recently came out and talked about openly, very openly now, she's super on board with court packing, abolishing, less concerned about here, but abolishing the Electoral College. We have DSA members winning the Democratic primaries in some specific states, calling for abolishing the Senate. All this, pretty crazy shit in terms of upheaving a lot of established election order. So yeah, I don't know. I think that this article is like a total rage bait kind of bullshit on the first title and first paragraph, and then the rest of it basically admits why actually there's no real threat.
Kamala Harris came out and said she's afraid for court packing.
Well, she's hinted at it before, but now she's full-throated about it. Yeah.
I think she said we need to look at the Supreme Court again. I don't think she specifically used the word court pack, did she?
She's talking about expanding the court.
I understand you can infer, but I'm saying she didn't say like, "Oh, let's pack the court." I think she said we need to
expanding the court. Yeah. Expanding the court is court packing. That's like by definition what it is.
I don't think she said expanding the court. I think she's like I said. I think she said we need to reevaluate the Supreme Court. I think is the quote.
No, she said no. Raise it to 13. Hold on.
Are we in open already?
We're in open. No, I remember we're in which goes.
Here, I don't know if you support this. CNN, known conservative news outlet, quote: Kamala Harris says the U.S. Supreme Court should expand to 13 justices.
Okay.
This was at the very end of July, July 31st.
Well, maybe it's a reason to actually like Kamala Harris. Wow, amazing. One of those. It should be more, far more judges. Okay, let's go to our friend Tiberius. And Tiberius, happy to have you. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, thanks for inviting me. It's a pleasure to see you all again. As far as intros, I retired, but this jackass named Lethe Waterkai, you may know him. He keeps begging me to come back. He's like, your individual perspective has been missed, and we miss you. And then Gibbs gave me a warm back welcome. So I don't know if I'm here for all time's sake, but yeah, I thought I'd throw my weight in on this topic. So yeah, let's make hay of this one. I want to separate this a little bit because there's easily like 6 conversations that this can boil into. Ballot harvesting is a great conversation we can get into when it comes to the opening. But my read on this, will there be some level of election interference? Yes. But it's going to be one of those conversations of how far do we cry foul? We've seen this now in every election going back since at least 2000 to my recollection, where somebody's got at least a major complaint and lawsuits are literally filed. I expect that again. Do I expect it to be the kind of thing where I'm like, oh, the elections are stolen? I would have said that the answer was no up until it was this year with the Massey election. Whenever people are throwing fucking $20 million for a congressional House seat, there's some shit going down, and I'm a little nervous about it. But anyway, long story short, will there be some bullshit? 1000%. Do I think that Trump is going to pull a coup? No, I actually agree with Lactoid. That's a bit of a rage bait topic. Is there reasons to be concerned? Yeah. And if you're a legal beagle, by all means, go out, make your lawsuits, go watchdog. That's fine. There are a few parts that I'm personally worried about. The big one being that the Trump administration, largely with the Republican Party, has done a really good job at getting at killing their centrists and removing them from the party. And so the people that are usually the first to sign up to go basically election watch, which is the person who's there to take your roll call down when you actually go vote, a lot of these people are now ideologues. And those people make me very nervous because I don't trust them. And if there's going to be some bullshit that happens, it'll probably be one of them that does it. Not saying the Democrats can't do it too. I'll pass it along because there's way too much to comment on here, but I'm very interested to see where this goes.
Okay, thank you. Let's go to our friend Bam.
Yeah. In relation to the article, is there going to be some type of expectation? Yeah. Yes. As post-election, Trump is going to stir up whatever he can to invalidate results. Is it going to be successful? No, but not for the reason of our Constitution or integrity or anything like that. It's going to be the issue is Trump is just unfathomably unpopular right now. The Republican Party, we can look at how elections were ran in 2024 versus how elections are being ran right now. In 2024, Republicans who are running for House seats and Senate seats ran as like, get me to Washington so I can do what Trump says. Like that was their thing. They was like, Trump is so good, I'm going to be an extension of arm for Trump, and I'm going to run in favor of him. They didn't have to advocate for anything. Now, if you're watching the way that candidates are running, they're not running on Trump good. They're running on get me into Washington, or you're going to have a socialist in there, or this person's a crazy communist, or if they're not a crazy communist, this person's not disavowing the crazy communist in New York or in Michigan or whatever. They're in favor of, they're not hating this other guy, so you have to put me in there to stop the communists. Trump may not be good, Trump, things may not be perfect, but we got to stop the commies. So similar to what we've seen through all the like special elections and stuff. Oh, I promise you, best believe true social is going to be going crazy. As the election results come in, there's going to be tons of people tons of Republicans going on every news platform they can find and saying that, like, isn't this just kind of weird? Like, we can't trust these results, blah, blah, blah. And like, they're going to be attempts. But in reality, the actual people with power are going to try to move to whatever the world looks like post-Trump. They're still going to outwardly support them, and they're going to say, I trust the president, things like that. But they're mostly checked out on him now. They're trying to figure out how they can survive post him.
Okay, let's go to our friend Waddell.
I think you're muted.
You're muted.
Yeah, Waddell. Yeah.
All right, let's try this again. I think the important thing when it comes down to this conversation is, one, what the article is trying to elicit, and then, of course, the overall concern of what Trump and the administration will potentially do. I think the article pretty much is indicating red flags more so than making absolute claims, which is why Latoid's saying that, they're kind of debunking themselves is not really the case in terms of the intent of the article. It's mostly about the fact that they are concerned about potential things that the Trump administration can do. And the ultimate conclusion or the thesis behind everything is, will an attempt be made? And that is an important question on an attempt being made at all. I don't know why we're even trying to attempt to do the things that is about to be attempted by the Trump administration. It's kind of crazy. I don't like it. Not a fan. So I think that's a big part of the conversation. And I do think it's also necessary and appropriate to also outline the safeguards, the guardrails that will potentially block the attempts that are being elicited. Because not only does that indicate that Dems are actually doing their job, but it also ensures that complete apathy to the system is not kind of being the through line of the upcoming elections of the midterms. Because we also know that the MAGA administration, one of the big things they want is people not to vote. That really helps them out. So overall, am I concerned that we will not be able to vote for the midterms? No. Am I concerned that another January 6th will happen? Probably not. It seems like the Dems are very prepared. A lot of information was put in the article about that. But am I upset that we're in this state of being where the fact that this is even on the table is happening? Of course. That's all.
Okay. Let's go to our friend Gibbs.
Yeah, this article is just what I would like to call bitching and emoting. That's all it is. It's literally Latoid laid it out. He basically put out, we hate that Trump is winning. We hate to do this. I hate to do this, but I'm going to pull up a meme because I think it's relevant. Because I've been watching CNN. I have the videos if y'all want to doubt it. But, first we were told, there's no fraud. And then we're told, just a little bit of fraud. And then it's like, hey, and then so fraud's not that bad. And now we're like, well, lo and behold, in the article, Lord, they're going to come and purge the voter rolls. Well, why is that? Because maybe it's because New Jersey admitted they had a glitch where 6,600 people that were not citizens somehow got in the voter rolls. And of that 6,600, we know 400 of them definitively voted. Maybe it's because we have a superintendent that we know voted in multiple elections and he was illegal and he has a litany of crimes. I'm sitting here, he's like, I was told mail-in voting is the most secure kind of voting of all time. I've been told it's safe, it's secure, nobody need to worry. I was told that we don't need to worry about 950 ballots in sequential order coming in all 100% for Biden from the military. Doesn't sound suspicious at all. I was told this is normal. I was told that was fine. And then I found out, just 3 days ago, that an employee was able, a federal post worker employee, was able to steal a winning lottery ticket by looking through the thing and pulling it out. That's not secure at all, motherfuckers. This shit's a lie. It's a cheat. It's a bamboozle and steal. These guys have entrenched the system, and it's called the thieves are the ones bitching about someone got wise to it and is playing the game they playing back. We're sitting here seeing California. We having videos. We literally have a video of homeless people being paid to go vote for people. We have homeless people admitting this. We're having all sorts of Eric Dowdy put on a report. We have other people. I know that he's biased. People are saying, oh, Lordy, he's bad. But it's pretty bad when you have him on tape saying it. Every day we're seeing more. You know what? This election with, I'm not saying, what's his name, the mayor race was suspicious, but it's crazy how all of a sudden all these votes came in at the crack of dawn again. It's the same tactics over and over. We have one of these ladies convicted of this shit recently where she basically says, oh, I snuck him in. We have the Connecticut mayor's case where there was basically ballot box stuffing, and we know they had to redo that. We have this on record happening all the time. We know the Dems have put an entrance system in, and now they're mad that the Republicans are coming in and trying to hold them accountable. It's crazy that Madani can understand the idea that I don't want non-citizens getting anything free from my grocery store and having voter ID, but somehow the rest of the Democratic Party doesn't think we need voter ID to vote. Hey, that's wild. Cool stuff. This is a losing topic. It's an 80-20 issue. Most people in the Democratic Party say they're okay with voter ID. Really, it's only the talking heads that are upset about it because they know that we're wise to the game now. There's no reason that we shouldn't have secure elections. We're seeing that the Dominion case against Mike Lindell was just dropped. Why is that? Oh, maybe it's because now there's evidence coming out that there's suspicions with connections to Venezuela. And y'all are going to go, get just all hootenanny and bullshit. Well, I got some news for you. I don't trust the lawfare system when y'all say this has been tried in court, and it's all Democrat-led judges putting that shit down. I don't trust that shit at all. Well, I'll tell you what I do trust is when we're sitting here seeing court cases being dropped by companies that were likely to win millions, like Dominion versus Mike Lindell, and they go, suddenly, why would they drop it? Well, suddenly you don't have your daddy in power, Biden administration to save you. And so now I'm sitting here going, it's wonderful that we're sitting here finally stealing the election. No, he's saving the election. Just like Kamala says she wants to expand the court, just like the Nazis, the DSA, so they want to get rid of the Senate and put in charge these people. Really, the Democratic Party is becoming this evil organization that is openly talking about the system that they put in place, and they're happy about the system. The liberal world order has fallen, and now they're ready to put something even worse in place. And guys, I can't say that how happy I am, but no, he's not stealing the election. Trump is saving it, Lordy, and it's amazing how even the media is starting to recognize it. The Communist News Network, CNN, is even saying that he's got the highest internal polling of any Republican since, I think Reagan. It's crazy that we're seeing this over and over. They can't hide all the wins, and I'm looking forward to the midterms because, no, they're not stealing it. They're saving it, and we're going to win the midterms in a dramatic fashion. I'm excited.
He's above Reagan, by the way.
Oh, well, who am I to sell him short? Sorry, go ahead. And you can find the Admiral Gibbs. Thank you.
Shout out to our friend Admiral Gibbs. And we will go to our friend Alex next. Go ahead.
So as of right now, I created 3 voter fraud bingo cards, and right now that shit is nearly filled out across the board. So if you hear me say bingo, that's because y'all just basically filled the bingo card, and we're almost there actually. Gibbs, thank you so much for filling out the bingo card, because we need to come down to understanding about something. Voter fraud is statistically irrelevant. More children die from guns incidents than there is voter fraud. And if you could actually point to me and give me an actual number of voter fraud in the past 30 years, I would be actually impressed. Because here's the thing, voter fraud probably counts for about 0.0003% of votes cast in like the last 30 years, something like that. And you're actually going to sit here and tell me that it's a systemic problem when it actually isn't, when actually they've done complete audits of this thing. They've done recounts across the board. Every single court case that was actually brought forth found that there was no filing whatsoever. And as a matter of fact, when you had people like what's her face, Sidney Powell, that actually said stupid ass claims, things like, oh, well, we had a U.S. Spec Ops team launch an operation in Frankfurt, Germany, into a Seidel facility, and they found, oh my God, they found all these ballots, and people were engaged in a firefight. Yeah, she actually went on TV and said this crap. And you know what? The funny part is that even Rudy Giuliani had to say and testify under penalty of perjury that when he was saying things about Ruby Freeman and Shane Moss actually stealing the election, he actually testified under penalty of perjury that no, they did not do any such thing. But the second that he leaves the courtroom, because he's not bound by perjury, he starts lying once again. Guess what? They got paid because he's a absolute liar and reinforce. But the fact of the matter is, Donald Trump can't admit that he lost the 2020 election. He knows he lost the 2020 election. Bill Barr's former attorney general told him that he lost the election. So when it comes down to this whole article, yes, absolutely, it's definitely a rage bait article, but that's what we live in. We live off of clicks right now. We don't actually go off of what's factual and information. People read the headlines and they don't actually see the nuance across the board. But the fact of the matter is there a possibility that Donald Trump could interfere in the election? Absolutely. He's already said he's going to. He's already talking about how he's going to run for another term when he can't do that. It goes against the Constitution of the United States. But the fact of the matter is, they've also talked about possibly putting agents that have no place being at our voter rolls or being at our election places. They're supposed to be actually doing their job, I guess, of like DHS crap, but they don't have any business being at these voter locations whatsoever. The fact of the matter is, and I'll keep saying this, okay, voter fraud is statistically irrelevant. Now, is it okay for people to show IDs? Sure, why not? But when it comes down to voting, you have to register to vote. You have to register to vote, just like any other to register to do anything else, like register to be, get your driver's license across the board. You have to register to prove your citizenship across the board. So when it comes down to it, I already know that these cards are going to get filled up, and I'm going to be screaming bingo all fucking night, and I yield the rest of my time.
Thank you for that, Alex. It sounds like it's going to be a lot of fun. So I'm happy that you're here, friend. Let's go to our final friend, Ali.
Yeah. So for the first question, yes, obviously, I think Trump's going to engage in or would engage in election fraud. He's salty about the last time. If he thinks that because the idea is that Trump truly believes that the election was stolen from him. So if he actually believes that the election was stolen from him and seemingly no one cares, well, then why wouldn't he engage in the same type of tomfoolery that, prevented him from winning his second, third term? In terms of the article is just laying out things that could happen and how the courts would have to stay vigilant in order to prevent something like a coup from happening, which, to be fair, Trump hasn't been joking about this like the past year. Trump's been joking about this since his first term, since close to the end of his first term, when he put out that first meme of Trump 2020, Trump 2024, 28, 32, but so on, till Trump forever. The guy wants to be king. I think he will go down at least dying trying. And if January 6th is any example of what he's willing to do to kind of like shake things up at minimum, right? I can only wait to see, I can only imagine what would happen in the coming election in 28. He's going to try to be a wartime president. And if anything, everyone's going to have to vote on Twitter at that point.
We have a super chat from Pondering Politics, I think a associate of one of our guests here. They said $20.
Fucking knew it.
Where the F are lacked towards leather jackets, shades, and motorcycle. This dono is to tempt him to have all three the next time he streams on the Reverie.
Well, that's a no-go on the motorcycle, because that is a little bit difficult to get in this room. But the leather jacket and shades, yeah, I can do that. Also, I'm down 15 pounds, so I'm going to look fucking slick.
Woo!
Love you.
Is this okay? Thank you for the $20. I'm not sure. Is this coming to me or did it come to someone else? Who's not sure. Also, are you jumping? Hey, what?
I was gonna say, me and Josiah have a love-hate relationship. So.
Okay, all right. It's difficult to tell sometimes because this program mixes the donations, and sometimes I don't know if it's coming from me or the someone else who's like streaming with me. But anyway, $10 from Pondering Politics. $10. The glow up is real. Well done, bro. But yeah, our friend Lacto, it looks great, fantastic, and thank you for the $30 donor.
So if you don't,
I just have 40.
If you don't put on the
pounds
fit,
more to go.
If you don't put on the fit, what are you gonna do? Because now money's been set. You've been kind of, you know what I'm saying. So
I'll do it. I have a leather jacket and I have sunglasses. It won't be hard.
I mean, yeah, you could probably get up and do it right now if it really came down to it. Like
I could.
I mean, I could go do that right now. It's not that hard. It's just hot.
You might as well bring like a toy motorcycle too. You gotta fit all three.
I don't have one.
Well, I gotta be honest. Listen, real quick, I don't give a fuck about none of this. I want to argue about this other shit. Listen, you fuckers have been stealing this shit, and I'm done with it. I had a video of an old lady. She's 87 or 80-something, maybe not 87, maybe 82. I don't know. She's 80.
Thank you, Pottering Politics.
Yes, we love you, Pottering. Thank you. This motherfucker, they come in there. I think it's Aunt Barrett again. They go out to her. They confirm if she's donated $150K to the Democratic Party over the last 8 years, and she goes, "I live in a fucking RV that's falling apart. Does it look like I have $150K to donate to the fucking over 8-year period to the Democratic?" No. So they have been scamming us from day one, and now we've caught them, and y'all are bitching. Why?
I'm sure I'm sorry. Is this going to be in the next whatever his name is video? But I think
Nick Shirley.
Yeah,
he's fighting the invasion of Spain right now.
I bet.
He's busy.
The issue,
the sweat invasion.
Mm-hmm. The issue with all of this is like no one comes up with like a original idea on the Republican or the conservative side. Everything that's pushed in the media, every talking point is literally a reverberation of what Trump says on Truth Social, what he comes out and states, and then that like just becomes fact. But it's like it's been proven so many times over what related to this man's ego that he just lies. Like again, it just comes back to like he just makes stuff up, and now we have to pretend that it's truth. We have to pretend that it's fact. And the unfortunate reality of like that voter fraud stuff is, well, I mean, we can prove it's not true, but it's like it's hard to prove a negative. Like so, yeah, you can't prove that they're not stolen because he didn't win. And
that's why you put safeguards in place.
But that's what I would say. I was gonna point to that. Like that would be one thing if you said that, like, oh, okay, if we actually did these safeguards that you believe in, then now like then that actually changes how people feel. But it doesn't. In the 2020 election, people had massive issues with the regards of voter security in the state of Georgia. Why? Because Donald Trump made it an issue to have the issues with voter security in the state of Georgia. And the state of Georgia follows whatever protocol you would want to place on a national level. We have voter ID. We have strict rules related to mail-in voting. Like all these things, they didn't matter because Trump lost the state. And in the party itself, it wasn't just like it wasn't just him top down the entire state. Like they went and invade. They raided the state of Georgia, Fulton County. So like these things don't help.
Because y'all were hiding shit.
Oh my god!
Hold on, I want to address specific. Like, I'll build a bridge. Like, I would agree with you that there are going to be some objections made that I wouldn't agree with, and there's going to be some objections made that I think are based more on just kind of feels or like partisan split, as opposed to like an actual tangible, like I guess, fact pattern. That's fine, but. Like for me, like, and I think what the article is sort of aiming at, it's trying to identify very specific things that could happen based on like what factually can happen, what legally could happen, and I'm sort of doing the same thing here when I'm pointing to why Republicans do have this concern about election security. To me, like, so there's a couple things, like you just said. All the estimates of voter fraud are wildly speculative. Because if you get away with voter fraud, how the fuck do you get that data? And how do you even begin to estimate what percentage of people are engaging in voter fraud? There are attempts. A lot of these attempts that I've seen, that I've looked at, they seem to they make like base level axiom assumptions of like, well, we can assume that the amount of undetected voter fraud is somewhat similar to the amount of detected voter fraud. This is generally what they say about regular fraud as well. But this is an assertion. There's not evidence actually presented along with this. It's based on just meritless assumptions. Whether or not, and so the real question is, well, then if we don't know what the level actually is, maybe it is tiny, but we do have science that shows that voter ID increases trust in elections, which is what the problem is right now. We know that voter ID does this. This is a fact. Among both parties, it increases the amount of trust that people feel in an election, right? And if the concern here is, well, these Republicans don't trust in an election, and so because of that, and we can't exactly say how much fraud's happening, but because Republicans don't trust in an election, they might come down and like start, looking at voter rolls and investigating things, and we don't want that. Oh yeah, but we're in favor of voter ID, but then we're going to vote against it. Like you talk about Trump always lying. I mean, did Chuck Schumer lie when he said he's in favor of voter ID and then immediately voted down a clean CR, amendment that simply had a voter ID proposal attached?
But it's not standard. No one ever advocates for standard voter ID. They're not just saying like bring your license.
They do. No. They say this. No, hold on. No, it did. It was any kind of. It was federal ID. It was like so. It could passport, driver's license, ID card, etc. Like just how it's done in voter ID states. And the CR had that as a proposal. Chuck Schumer and the Democrats say they support it because 83% of Americans do. They can't say no to that because that's going to look bad for their re-election chances. So they have to say that they like it. But then when it comes time to vote for it, they just don't.
So it doesn't say anything about your name having a match related to your social security card or your birth certificate.
Any federal ID that is linked to your identity. So a driver's license.
That's not the same thing though. Again,
that is a driver's license, a passport, a state issued ID.
It's not that simple.
Well, here's the thing though. In 2022, actually, when the PACT Act was getting ready to get signed, it was brought forth the legislation. Senators said that they were going to vote for it. But then what they do, they ended up voting against it. That's how politics actually works, though. Like they said, it was a slush fund, which there was no proof to that whatsoever. The same can be said around like right here, as far as like, well, they're seeing the reason. And I didn't actually look into legislation, so I can't really weigh on the matter. But yeah, people lie all the time. I mean, Chuck Schumer, I don't even like Chuck Schumer. I think he needs to get the fuck out of here. But the thing is, it's neither here nor there.
No. This is here and there because this is specifically about like one of the election safeguards that Republicans have been talking about for a long time now, and even Democrats are on board with, something as fucking simple as voter ID. Like the same shit that I need.
But it's never what
I have read the amendment. I've gone line by line and actually read
again. I got two things.
It's not about when you actually go to. It's not about when you go to the poll after registration. It's issues of registration. Registration requires you to bring.
Not for this CR.
Registration requires you.
I am talking about a very specific. I'm talking about a very specific. I'm not talking about the SAVE Act right now. I'm talking about the continuing resolution in March of 2026. There was a rider, an amendment that was proposed on a CR. This was proposed by an Ohio. I have it right here or whatever, but it was proposed by an Ohio representative, and it was pretty simple. And he was open to having Democrats work with him on it, right? And we're not going to change anything. Like the amendment doesn't include other like fucking appropriations funding or anything. It's just simply straightforward voter ID, any form of federal ID, specifically like passports, state issued licenses, state issued identification cards, etc. That you would need that to go and vote. And Chuck Schumer and the rest of the Democrats voted against it.
By the way, thanks for the bingo. By the way, Lactoid.
I got it.
Wait, hold on. What was the bingo? What did I say that was wrong?
No. You said you brought the SAVE Act
because I knew that you would say something.
Oh, just say that. I'm not talking about the SAVE Act, but sure, I did mention the SAVE Act. Sure.
Yeah. Okay. So that's the bingo right there. So thank you very much.
As a dirty evil centrist, I got two questions for y'all. For someone like Alex, who's a little bit more pro-Democrat, number one, are you actually in favor of voter ID? And then two, do you legitimately have a problem with the people who say that they're for it, like Chuck Schumer, and then doesn't vote for it? And then to Lactoid, the part that I'm agreeing with the Democrats is that I don't think most Republicans know how their fucking elections work. And even if we give them voter ID, do you actually believe they're going to feel any more safe about their elections? Because I don't think they will.
These are fake IDs.
So yeah,
who do you want to answer first?
Lactoid, I'll go with you first because you're ready.
Sure.
You're ready to go.
Yeah, I mean, look, if you give me everything that I want, and the Republicans are still like, well, nah, it's the deep state, the lizard. At some point you're going to hit a point where I'm going to say, all right, well, this is just fucking dumb. Like they've made plenty of it, like the most basic of safeguards that you've been talking about for a long time, and they did it, and you're still bitching. Then I would, I'd be a lot more conciliatory. Sure.
Okay, I can follow with that a little bit. Although
you've given up power and you got nothing in return for it.
I think a lot of
I'm much more about principle than I am power. That's the thing.
Alex, I want to hear your answer though, real quick, if you don't mind.
Can you ask the question again, because you kind of asked a two-part question?
Yeah, it was. Sure. Part one, are you pro voter ID or not?
Sure, I'm okay with it.
Okay, and then two, how do you feel about people who legitimately say consistently that they are for it, and then when it actually comes up to the vote, they just turn it down?
That's partisan politics. I mean, I don't agree with it.
Okay, cool. Do you think that there's any like superficial motive that they're not talking about, or that they don't openly, have, that they're actually, following through with?
Well, I haven't really looked at the legislation, so I really can't weigh on the topic. But the biggest contention when it comes down to voter ID is because a lack of access to it, because the logistics behind on how they're going to get this established isn't there. That's been the biggest problem, because it's going to drastically impact certain communities when it comes down to having voter ID. Because like if you limit to a driver's license, that's one thing, but not everybody has a driver's license, because not everyone can legally drive in this country. And then, but if you're saying, well, let's just break it down to like a simple identification card. Okay, so what do you got to do in order to get that? Do you just go down to the local DMV, the Secretary of State? Okay, so what if a person lives out in Timbuktu or lives out in Bumfuck, Indiana?
I'm familiar with this argument. For real, I get it. I don't agree with it to a large point, but at least like I want to square this shit off, because some of this stuff doesn't work for me at all when it comes to the rubber don't hit the road with our politics anymore, and it pisses me off. This is why I had to take a vacation. Is that like people say one thing, do something different. We've had that for a long time. So here's the part that I want to hit, and I'll punch right here for a minute, because it looks like Gibbs wants to fight me. All right. How bad do you think that the Democrats are just lying, cheating, and stealing, man? Because like legitimately, if it's remotely as bad as the average Republican tells me it is, how is that like 30,000 people in fucking jail, man? Like I don't get this shit.
Yeah, is that to me? Yeah, I mean, it's
part of them all.
Yeah, I mean, well, that's a good point, sure. But I mean, I think it's also how much of this is like entrenched in a system, right? So, like, do I think that the rank and file knows like what's happening? Probably not, right? Do I think like the local postmaster that's a Democratic appointee or something somewhere is the guy, or the local county clerk might not be on it, but I think certain county clerks might be on it. I think certain voting officials. I think the Dems figured out, okay, we're struggling a while back, all right? And so what they did was they went in the system and they made cheating legal, right? Or they hid their cheating in ways like, oh, we're going to do USAID and do NGOs. It's amazing how all these dramatic riots were happening. Now NGOs have stopped funding them. Now they don't have any money. At the same time, USAID has been cut. It's amazing how rap music that was pushing a leftist agenda has disappeared off the charts for 40 weeks in the top 25. It's crazy.
True, CIA doesn't drop bangers anymore.
These are CIA, and I'm just saying, so when I'm talking about all this entrenchment, I'm talking a decades-long system. People who think Trump was the answer from the Republicans. No, Trump's never been the answer from the Republicans. Trump's like a grenade. We threw him in there to blow the system up. A lot of us knew he was corrupt. A lot of us knew he's a piece of shit, but it's like a forest fire. He's coming in and burning out the other shit, and then we'll deal with him later.
Chemo, right?
Yeah.
I get the rationale. I think it's horseshit, but let me bring us back to the
evidence keeps supporting Papa. I'm just saying.
I'm sure it does, boss man. Right. But no, let me get you on this. I want this definitive answer from you. How bad do you think it actually is? I get the rationale of the explanation. Like real bad as if like
listen in the 17 there were people. Thomas Jefferson, one of them, he stepped down after Secretary of State, right? Before he became president, he said, "I'm really considering never going back to politics because it's a cesspool of corruption." This is right after the government was founded. Do y'all think it's got better or got worse since then?
Completely different conversation.
No. Well, hold on. I think it's just gotten worse, and I think now the difference is that the Dems are one of the first modern parties, right? They sit here. They've been around a while. They've seen the technology. And you know what? The Klan got smart when they became the Dems. They decided we're going to do a rebrand. We're going to take over. And guess what? Now we're going to define what racism is. And we're going to make organizations where these bleeding hearts pay, like the SPLC, and then fund us. Right? This is the same thing.
I don't care. I love you, man, but I just don't give a shit. I need a real conversation with you.
How much more corrupt
that is a real conversation.
I'll buy the narrative that the Democrats are horrible and corrupt and evil and they're going to steal fucking elections. All right, I'll sell you that one. The problem I need is like, how big is this? Like,
it's massive.
Okay, when I say massive, was it big enough to alter the 2020 election?
Yeah, I think it's been altering. I think every election the Democrats won probably now in the last 20 years has been suspicious. I'm just saying.
But where's your proof, though? Where is your proof?
We're finding it. It's amazing how New Jersey don't want to work with those voter rolls after they glitch around 6,600 nonsense.
They haven't demonstrated anything.
No, they already did 400 of them voted.
They haven't proven anything, actually. Dude, we're talking about widespread voter fraud. We're talking about stuff that can actually
people. That's massive.
That's not massive. Hold on, that is not massive. Holy shit!
I got to be honest with you. You might be retarded if you think that, because if we go
over there in town again, I love how we just keep fucking running this suck about these things, but he has no proof to back up any of his fucking claims. Instead, they're going to come out and steal the voter rolls. I tell you what, if we come down to Texas and steal the fucking voter rolls down there, I bet you would lose your fucking mind on that one. Because the fact of the matter is, Texas is stealing elections too. Oh my God! Look at this is what happens when you put people like
you're right. Texas are down Democrats.
This is really productive. Very productive.
I'm going to finish my point, though.
No, but he's
you asked. I'm going to finish my point.
You can finish your point, and then I want Alex to go.
This is how stupid that. Go ahead
as well.
Yeah, listen, 400 people. If that just off the jump, that's why I posted this meme earlier. Is immediately and essentially a massive steal. When you're in small counties and you're in cities, local elections are stolen in the margins. Hundreds could be a massive thing. This is what's happened. CNN said there was no voter fraud, and then it turned into there's just little voter fraud. Then it turned into voter fraud's not what it means. All this shit. We're seeing this over and over again that changed the story. So first there was none of it. And we're finding examples, anecdotal ones, all over the country now. We're seeing all sorts of key people doing this. And so when you're sitting here going, where's the proof? I'm saying we're finding, we're just started. Why is a state that's got 6,600 people that were put on there as non-citizens accidentally not wanting to purge those rolls? That's somebody, listen, they admitted they were wrong. They should purge the rolls. Why is this controversial? Why are we seeing, when we see ballot harvesting in California, that they're not purging those rolls? Oh, it's all fine and dandy. But Alex is going, there's nothing to see here, brother. And while they control the media and they control the courts under the fucking last few people, it's suspicious as hell.
Well, they are purging the rolls. They're purging the rolls of the people that voted.
Yeah, they're purging the rolls of the fucking facts of the matter right now. They're hiding them and burning it so that we can't take a look at it.
Wait, you said they weren't purging the rolls. They are.
They're purging the records of their misdeeds if they're doing anything.
Oh God.
So you're not. So you're just yapping.
No, I'm saying they're not purging them like they should be, and if they are doing it, trying to cover the.
So they are purging.
He's spitting,
but they're not purging them.
Okay.
It's true.
What are we? What are they doing? Are they not purging them, or are they purging them, bro?
They're not purging them, and they're covering the crimes.
Let's go to Alex. And
you didn't see the meme, Riddell?
So
you know what? The meme comes.
I got more memes. I got more of them. Don't worry.
So again, okay. So first things first, I'm not CNN, so
I'm the realist.
I don't even fucking watch CNN. But the fact
CNN's more reputable.
I don't give a shit. Okay, you can say what you want to, but you're just talking trash right now. Okay, so even the Heritage Foundation even said 1,600 documented cases of election fraud or election-related offenses. 1,600, Gibbs. 1,600. Holy shit, dude. That's a fucking massive, widespread fucking voter fraud. This is the Heritage Foundation.
Documented.
Yeah. But the thing is, though, that is proven cases. But that actually, But the thing
when they caught them.
No, but that proves that the system's fucking working, dude. That means it's fucking working across the board.
How does that prove that the system's working across the board?
It means people have been caught.
What percentage of people have been caught?
What does it fucking matter?
Because if it's 1%, then the system's not working.
It's 0.003% of the people that have been proven. God damn it!
No,
hold on.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
this is
not how this works.
You're making speculative arguments with no.
No, you are. You're making speculative arguments.
Dude, I'm telling you what the source is coming from. It's coming from the Heritage goddamn Foundation, dude.
You're pointing to the documented cases, not the undocumented cases.
So now everything's wrong, like all the fucking voter fraud, and stuff like this.
The specific. No. The specific. Okay.
What?
Here, I'll make it very clear. You pointed to the Heritage Foundation talking about documented voter fraud. I'm simply pointing out that pointing to documented voter fraud is not sufficient to prove what the actual scale of voter fraud is.
So you want to go in? Okay, so you just want to live in the world of hypotheticals. Like, well, there could be voter fraud. Like, what argument are you trying to make?
Yeah. Hold on. Yes, some people will get away with fraud. That is my statement. Is it crazy?
No, it's not crazy. But the thing
is, then why don't we?
Prove the fraud is there. You can't prove what's not there.
Not if we can't find it, because it's undetected by definition.
But the thing is,
There's
okay,
fraud in
okay,
everything,
where,
but-
okay, no, where, okay,
Wait,
okay,
Lactoid.
okay, Lactoid.
It doesn't
Show
mean
me
anything.
where
It
the new
doesn't
voter
mean
fraud
anything.
is. Show me where the new voter fraud is.
Listen, I can't show you what is undetected.
Exactly. Oh, you can't detect what the fuck?
That is why you put safeguards.
But oh my fucking god, dude! I already told you that it's statistically irrelevant. Doesn't that prove the system is fucking working?
Aliens exist.
I feel like you didn't listen to my rebuttal of that.
I would like to
Oh.
deal with that. Hold on, let me try it. So
Go ahead, Prime.
Let Bam in. And Ty, do you want to get in later?
Yeah, as soon as you're done,
and
man.
anyone else?
I want to get in as well.
Okay, all right. So I'll put write down Ty and Riddell. And hopefully our friend Bam will show up again. Okay, so these quote unquote safeguards are not costless. And I think that's what, maybe I'm putting words into his mouth, so I want to be careful here. I think that's what Alex is trying to get to. That like, hey, we have an actual documented, like tiny amount of voter fraud. And what you're saying, hey, let's put all these like quote unquote safeguards in place, and then that'll just kind of solve things. But there is a cost. Sorry, not solve. Sorry, right. I don't want to go too far.
Sure.
So you mean like they help mitigate fraud in the future. Fair. So I hear you, but these things aren't costless. So it puts friction, just like the voter IDs. I put friction in between individuals and having the ability to vote. And it's like these things we've been well discussed, right? Like all the reasons why. 1 second. All the reasons why
I got a response for this.
Liberals, have been against a voter ID. You talk about this like level of friction there, and that some people will essentially be disenfranchised. Okay, and so that's a problem, right? Especially if we're talking about like in response to an issue that might be absolutely marginal, right? That means like very little. All the stats I've seen have put voter fraud as like minuscule, right? Maybe it's bigger. Maybe more, new evidence is coming out, and I missed that, and that's fair, right? But like everything I've seen, like points to that. And furthermore, right? You talked about election trust, and like, well, voters say that like they want voter ID. If you uphold them, they'll do that. Yeah, I believe you, but two things. One, voters don't actually care about elections like that, like the mechanics of elections. They don't. This is revealed, right, when we have an election and there is a massive questioning of like how the election worked, but then a few months later, like we're back to normal. We've forgotten about like, oh, there's promises that we're going to reform the election. But then the public immediately forgets about these things soon after. That, like, for instance, talking about the I don't know what just happened there. I don't know. But the Bush v. Gore, right? Mm-hmm. Like after Bush v. Gore, oh hey, the election for him has to happen. This electoral college, how could it be? And article after article. People were outraged. Hey, look at what happened in Florida, but then nothing happened. Disappeared off the map, right? Those very same people, it kind of disappeared. There have been efforts to reform our elections, but they've been very, very slow going. Now, I
got to respond to this too.
I'm the type of person who wants election reform. I'm trying to get rid of the electoral college, and so this hurts that this is true, but it is. That's the situation, right? Now, however, there was a break in the pattern, right? And a break in the pattern comes from a Donald Trump. You talk about like, hey, we have to like restore trust in the elections. the single biggest reason that the American public has lost trust in the elections isn't because of what happened during 2020 elections. It's what happened afterwards. The endless crybaby, the bitching, the moaning of Donald Trump has been that has undermined American elections in a way that's never happened before. Never happened before, right? We didn't have an individual one who tries to undermine the election in the first place, right? And then from there, questions everything about our election integrity to this scale. It's just never happened before. This is a brand new phenomenon. The single thing that would improve people's trust in elections is simply removing Donald Trump from the political arena. That would do it. He has been the focus of this. He has had a chance to prove his case, right? That the election interference happened. He failed miserably. Miserably.
That's Trump to you?
So, yeah, if you're talking about, hey, like, instilling.
Let me go after this point. Yeah, let me go after last point so you can respond to both of us at once.
Sure. So, okay. So this is my response, right? So, the first thing is when you talk about there being a cost associated with it. Well, if we want to refer to like science and studies and stuff, it appears as though voter ID has no significant determinative effect or really significant effect much at all on voter rates. It appears to be statistically irrelevant because the vast majority of people have IDs and the vast majority of people can go get IDs. I would agree with you that like there perhaps is this, there could still be some kind of like broader concern that I guess you could really care about. I just discount it for two reasons. First of all, part of me is, yeah, if you're too incapable of going to get a ID, I don't want you having a say over me to begin with. Like, you can't even bother to go get a fucking ID in America as an adult.
Able to for various reasons.
Or sorry. If you're not able to, you shouldn't. Yeah, if you're not able to, in the states with voter ID where they will mail it to your house, if you're not able to, then you also, sorry, you're too. You can't have a say. I mean, that's ridiculous. I'm sorry. I'm not. These people.
You said that you feel that way in general.
Hold on. Not necessarily. This minuscule group of statistically irrelevant people that like can't figure out or can't get a ID in a system that makes it exceedingly easy to do so. These people, I think, not only brought it themselves, or if they're so incompetent that they didn't bring it on themselves and they truly aren't responsible for their lack of action, then I don't want these people having a say in my republic to begin with. The second thing, I would agree with you that documented voter fraud is generally rare and accounts for relatively small percentages. And there are people who assert that undocumented voter fraud is rare, and they usually assert this by making up estimates entirely out of thin air based on assumptions and axioms. I've never seen a good methodology, largely because it's undocumented. Like, the whole point of having safeguards is to prevent the times we can't catch it. But let's ignore that for a second. Let's just assume that the people making up out of thin air are whatever. The Bush versus Gore Florida election that you mentioned was about 500 votes, if I remember correctly, that actually decided that election. As a percentage of Florida's population, that's 0.0021%. This is below even the estimates of the making it up out of thin air people are putting it in terms of like the potential undetected voter fraud. When we live in a country where it's this split, very small percentages can matter. And I think that this is part of the reason why people are concerned of, the undetected voter fraud. It doesn't need to be like entire digits sometimes even. It can be like just enough to make or break shit, and people are worried about that. People don't like that. Yeah. And this generates paranoia. And it also generates paranoia, especially when I feel like somebody's hiding something, or I feel like somebody is like acting strange, it generates paranoia where none might exist, right? Like, I've never seen someone in Xinjiang being culturally genocided, but the fact that the Chinese aren't letting us in to go look, and we're getting these satellite images of these camps popping up, like, that's kind of weird. Like, they should probably show us what's going on. And so when you claim to be in favor of, like, again, the basic shit, like voter ID, like, you claim that you're in favor of it. Chuck Schumer says that he's in favor of it. You can argue against it. Yeah, you can argue against it, sure. But Chuck Schumer doesn't. right? Okay. But then you vote against it consistently, and then you don't actually propose any changes. You don't actually propose any bill of your own. I mean, that's fishy.
So we can hear you fiddling with everything.
There's
two
things.
God. But we can go to we have to get to Emerald Gibbs. He's next in line. We'll go to you, Bam, right after.
This is a lot. He's going about crazy people.
No,
he said that to me.
You just got to throw in.
Oh, look, this is actually to like Prime. It's like, I'm going to go down this points.
Go ahead.
Yeah. First, Democrats do this duplicitous tactic. One thing I know about them is they're very intelligent if they are, even though they are evil, right? The thing is, what they do is they'll give you up just enough so they can point and say, look at these evil guys. We caught the voter fraud. They gave up, like they did with the fraud in Michigan. They're like, we're the ones who found this fraud. And they were finding out they didn't find shit, and they were in cahoots the whole time, and they only did just enough that they could say, oh, look, we did our job, when really they're like, that's the scrubs that we're going to get caught anyway, and then they go and hide. Secondly, the reason Trump was elected, and this seems to be something I think Prime is missing here, is when he's talking about, oh, hey, Trump, the reason that we don't trust the system is because Trump, no. Wrong, inaccurate. Trump was the answer to the neocon, neolib alliance, right? The uniparty. He came in 2016 and he won enough of the neocons over that he's going to go in there, and he worked with some of them, and it didn't work because guess what? We had people like Bolton, and the Dems are all too willing to suck on Bolton's cock now that he hates Trump. But then when he was with Trump, he hated him. And so when they're sitting here going, oh, it's this thing, the uniparty, he had to fight both the neocons in his party and the entire Democratic Party his first term. So when he comes in the second term, he now has people throughout the country in different positions of power that believe in the MAGA movement and believe in what he's thinking, and they want to actually disrupt what the system that has been entrenched. And so when Prime, you're going, oh no, they didn't trust the elections. The whole reason they voted for Trump is because they didn't trust the entire system to begin with. So finally, the last part is they're sitting here going, it's crazy how Trump didn't get this done the first election. It's crazy how this didn't happen. And then yet this election, we're seeing hundreds of cases being opened, and we're seeing fraud all over the world with money. We're seeing the voter fraud appear when they were
all over the world.
Media, all over. And then we're seeing fraud. All these things that are coincidentally happening at the same time. Crazy how the riots disappeared. All these things are tied together. This evil cesspool of the system. And I know y'all are sitting here laughing, but more and more comes out every day, and we find out more and more that he's correct. And so y'all just going, oh, he did it because he's bitching. No, he did it because the American people were wise to the game, and they voted an outsider in.
Hey, you want to call corporate Democrats evil? I'm with you. I'm on your side.
I'm not.
You agree that outsiders in now, as opposed to using the neocons like Bolton the first time, right? For the most part.
I mean, yeah, but like in the end, what
that
equaled is him starting a legal offensive war, right? Which was
in the end, he adopted Bolton's foreign policy.
Yeah, that's just like that's all Bolton wanted to do. He always wanted to do exactly this. I don't know what to tell you. I'll leave alone. I can come back for you guys later, but I want to let my man Bam in. Go ahead.
I feel like the number of like the winning percentage on federal cases is like in the tanker right now. These used to be guarantees, and they just putting up all these shitty cases everywhere. But in response to what Lactoid said, it feels like a situation, and maybe you can argue the opposite. Maybe you can argue it goes both ways. But what you said just feels inconsistent. Like
also Ty and Bedell. I forgot about you too. It's on the list. I saw you. Okay, after Bam, Ty and Bedell. I do apologize, Ben.
Yeah, it just feels like we're saying that like you're saying that like, oh, okay, the country is in a very split place right now. So if you look over a country of 340 million people, even if there might be 1,000 cases of voter fraud going on, but in the country so split, like the number of those number of votes matter, and they can impact the difference of an election, and we probably shouldn't have those things happen. But and at that point you're talking about like an unknown. Like you can't say for sure, but you're like, we need to put these safeguards in for these unknowns that make us feel uncomfortable. But in that same breath, you also say that, oh, in that country of 340 million people, there may be that same 1,000 people who are U.S. citizens that may run into troubles or difficulties or find some extra hurdle to voting. To voting. And I know, and you're saying that like that those like you're okay with that because that's just such a small number, it's irrelevant.
No, that's not just why. No, that's not what I said.
Well,
because this is critical.
Mean, though.
No, what I'm talking about is if somebody like voter fraud to me is actually like if somebody does that, like I'm actually like fuck, like no, that is nullifying somebody's vote that should be voting, right? But if you're so incompetent, this is the point I was making. This is the principal difference. If you're so wildly incompetent that in a country that makes it exceedingly easy to get a license, that requires a license for almost
I know you don't
like
have to
fucking
things. You're
like
saying
at life.
Right. Right.
Yeah, I don't. But you care. Like if someone voted like actually commits voter fraud, you would care, right?
No, but I'm saying if I think you would. I think it's still attached to a threshold because you're saying it's such an exceedingly rare that you don't care. But if it was like 90% of the country had issues voting due to this, then it would be like, oh, okay, we need like whatever that issue is, we now need to correct it. Like if
hold on, whoa, no. If we have the same abilities to get an ID and 90% of the population can't figure out, we're just done as a country to begin with, so we're just like fucked. But at that point, we just need like a monarch to come in and just rule us because we're just too stupid.
Like Trump.
Not 90% of people.
Okay. Well,
anybody. Yeah.
But speaking to the point of like speaking to your other point of like why don't the Democrats just give on this, like. Again, Trump ran on this deal maker in chief. He makes a deal. He makes a deal. And one, we knew that he's actually terrible at the concept of making deals. But the thing, how these things actually need to work is has to be a give and a take. You're asking why don't the Democrats just give, which would be disappointing to their voter, upset their voters, and get nothing in return. Yes, it would. I know you quote this 83% number, but the Democrats weren't at the time of what you call it, the Democrats were the Democratic electorate or electorate actually weren't in favor of capitulating to us agreeing to an extension without changes to ICE, without gaining something in return. They weren't just saying give in to the Republicans. It doesn't like you have to gain something. That was
hold on, wait. Yeah. But it was an amendment to the CR, so it wouldn't mean that the CR would just pass. Like you could still maintain your objections and just simply agree, like, hey, we're not going to pass this overall CR yet, but we're going to agree to the amendment that adds voter ID.
Right.
Also, I'm looking at the CBS. Yeah, I'm looking at the polling on our good friend the Clanker, CBS News, March 16th through 19th. 65% of Democrats support voter ID. Harvard Caps poll,
with something in return,
54%.
You're taking these things without context. I can tell you something that shows 83% of people support some form of Medicare for all, but it's how you ask the question and what do you get in return for it.
Here, I'll give you the exact way the question is phrased. I have the YouGov poll up.
I'm saying that I'm just telling you from the Democrats' perspective. Even if you can be okay with something, you're not. Again, like this is just how deals are work. You're not going to give this to the Republicans as a win without getting something in return. And that's no,
but again, when most Democrats say yes,
Democrats wouldn't be happy if
stop. Listen, that's wild. Listen. When most Democrats say, like, when the question is, do you favor or oppose requiring people to show valid photo identification before they are permitted to vote? When most Democrats are saying yes to this, they favor requiring people to show valid identification.
Yeah, Bam is holding the country hostage.
Hold on.
Typical Democrat.
Okay, I'm sorry. If you don't know what that sentence means, then you also shouldn't be voting.
No, you don't understand what the voters mean. No,
literacy test.
Stop! No. This is a YouGov poll, and it simply asks.
I don't care.
Stop! Let me finish a sentence and stop saying you don't care.
I don't want you to finish the sentence. I want to continue talking. I don't want you to finish the sentence.
You're right. They're actually all evil geniuses. They say, no, I actually don't want it. I want you to ignore it and not propose anything. Which Chuck Schumer didn't negotiate that. Did Chuck Schumer try to get something from that?
No, because there's nothing. That's not what Democrats want.
The Dems don't care what you want. You heard it here, guys.
There's a reason.
I'm going to let you finish, and then I'm going to respond.
I disagree with that, by the way.
If this was a popular opinion, then Democrats running, even moderate Dems running for re-election would be running on voter ID. It's not popular among Democratic voter electorate to add extra steps to voting right now. There's a world in the future where we can be okay with some version.
It's not advantageous to the party
while getting something in return, but it's not a pro-Democrat issue right now. It's voting on adding
because obviously if they're straight voters, they're not going to fucking get elected if you have to use IDs.
Okay, no, let me
the real world.
I mean, that's pretty obvious, man.
I can't help you with that.
True.
That's
okay,
not.
Let me respond on a couple things. The first thing is Chuck Schumer did not attempt to negotiate this and get something in exchange for voter ID.
Because it's a total
yes,
he simply hold on. He simply voted it down in terms of the CR resolution in March. Secondly, the way that the poll that I'm looking at phrases
what this poll says. You don't understand.
I don't care if you care. I'm making the case to the audience now. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm making the case to the audience. You don't care. I get it. You don't live in the world of fact here. Fair enough.
I'm in the world.
So when YouGov when YouGov sends out a poll, and I ask people to identify what political party they affiliate with, and then I ask them a series of questions, and it finds that most Democrats agree with a very, very clear sentence. They agree with voter ID. What this means, okay, maybe it's not as high up. Maybe it's not as high up on their priority list. Maybe they're more in favor of late-term abortions. Who knows? But they are overall in favor, if given the choice, they are overall in favor of voter IDs. So much so that Chuck Schumer himself says that he's in favor of voter IDs. And the Democrats themselves, the elected ones, they say they are in favor of voter ID. These people say it. And so, no, stop, please. And so, when you have most of the base saying it, yes. When you have the actual the political establishment, the actual elected people saying yes, this idea of you saying, well, they don't really want it, then they're all a bunch of liars.
No,
like there's
no political will for it. There's no political will.
What do you mean there's no political will? They could have just voted yes. They could have just voted yes.
There are Democrats.
They could have just voted yes.
Like what? Find a Democrat that wants it, that's advocating for it, that's saying that like yes, I want voter ID.
They all said Chuck Schumer. No, Chuck Schumer said yes.
But he's going to.
They're not out marching for it. That's not the standard.
Do you know a real person?
Chuck Schumer's not a real person? The Senate minority leader?
We got to move on. To our friend Ty and Riddell.
Yeah, that conversation was wild. I'll try to piggyback off of this a little bit because there's about 6 different things I do want to say, but I do find it very odd from my perspective that the Democrats like to say this one thing and then do something different kind of conversation, and this is very much Lactoid's point, and I have to agree with them. Like, it's really weird how you guys have a very unpopular opinion with this, and you guys are trying to use it as some kind of like political leverage. I would dump this issue if I was a Democrat. Like, just give.
Among Democrats.
I don't give a shit if it's popular among Democrats. It's popular among the country, and you take it elsewhere.
Lactoid's point is they don't use it as leverage, right?
Yeah.
So they're saying they want it, they don't use it as leverage, and I'm arguing with Lactoid here. The reason why is because they doing something shady, and so obviously they're not going to always shut it down.
I didn't ask for your opinion on this yet. All right, look, I'm trying to actually get more to what Bam's getting at, because it's like I don't get this. Like, I think from my perspective, and granted I'm biased as fuck, that this is just an L for Democrats, and they need to give this shit up. Because it's not helping them in any way.
Welcome to the Republican Party.
Well, yeah, just give me 10 minutes to kick me out again. All right, just shut up. Okay. All right, here's the other part. Attacking the Republicans, a lot of this shit just comes off as Schrodinger's election shit or election fraud to me. Like, until you all prove it, like you've got people convicted, and you can say, here's 1,000 new cases from 2020 that is legitimate. We've convicted these motherfuckers. I don't believe y'all. Because here's the reality of my wonderful opinion, my biased source here, is that I don't think the Democrats are evil. I think they're just fucking incompetent. Like, the idea that they could get together and actually put together what you all accuse them of, no fucking way. These people cannot get their shit together for 10 fucking minutes. Because if they did, then Trump would be in jail. Because they keep telling me about how he's an evil traitor and he's going to destroy the country. And yet somehow they can't fucking convict him except for small crimes in New York. It's fucking wild. Like, the rubber is not hitting the road on either side of this issue from either camp, and it's pissing me off. Like,
Democrats, I think y'all are intelligent, for the record. I even said that earlier.
No. I think they're intelligent too. They're educated. I've seen it. But on the other side,
they're evil geniuses.
I don't think they're evil geniuses.
He does.
Duplicitous evil genius.
Yeah, no, I don't think. I don't think Democrats are evil geniuses. I think that they are. They are the country's HR party. They say they're here to help. They say they're here to, to work with us, and they fuck us all over the moment that we actually have an issue.
Okay.
Fuck this part. Fuck this party. I don't like them.
Anyway, do you think
I like the HR party analysis?
Wait.
Yeah, you just go. You go.
So,
Bam, I see you. We can go afterwards.
Yeah, go crazy, my boy. My thing is with this conversation is I'm glad I was patient because I have a few things I want to say in regards to it. First things first, I obviously agree statistically this issue is, nonsensical. And I do think it's always funny anytime like MAGA talks about it and talk about how they care about election security, considering Donald Trump has made it his mission to make elections less secure. I mean, when it comes down to it, they cut and defund programs and agencies directly designed to make voting more secure, like the CISA, which was there to help protect against foreign agencies, like the recent agency that they cut that was there to check voting machines. I mean, this is not an issue they actually care about. With that said, they do love to use it as a propaganda tool to make it seem like it's something that the Republicans are going to fix, which they don't. They want to make elections harder, which is the goal of the SAVE Act. Regardless, I do think there's an interesting point that Lactoid brought up that I actually would bridge the gap here. Now, I did want to check that CR amendment that you're referring to because I do think it was like an interesting point you brought up. Overall, I already know and agree with that Democrats are talking about how they do advocate for a voter ID bill. And I do think a conversation a little bit later on that is worthwhile having is implementing a national voter ID, which I would be an advocate for. And I'm also not antagonistic to the idea of voter ID in general. They have it in my state, Ohio, which is the place that Husted, the guy you were talking about, was putting out voter ID. However, in the conversation that took place in regards to the amendment, their argumentation was that if we implement what we're implementing, it doesn't encapsulate the full threshold of people who are qualified as a citizen to vote. The two things that they brought up was student ID and tribal IDs without an expiration date. So in that sense, you could argue that this is not good enough, but it's hard to really calculate the full numbers. But there are a lot of very, very young people who do have student IDs that don't have, a state or driver's license or something like that. Now, if you don't buy that argument, they could get one, but if they don't have it currently, and if they're not in the state that they live in, it's going to be a little bit of an arduous process. Now, you could argue that it's not good enough, but then there's the potentiality that millions of people won't be able to vote because of the process that was initially implemented. I do think if we are going to implement, this is the bridge that I will build with Lactoid. If we're going to implement a voter ID program, I would attach a national voter ID being given out to all qualified citizens with it. That makes sure that everybody has the qualified identification to vote all across the board, all across the nation. And that is something that a lot of people use in terms of like the European countries. That's what they have. Now, of course, we're different, but if we're going to do something like that, that's what's also going to be required, or at the very least make more identification usages available to people. So we're not like leaving out large chunks of people not voting, which would actually be a problem, not this fake propaganda tool about like immigrants voting. So that's it.
Okay. So a couple things. The first thing is, I'm sorry. If you're in college, you should be able to. If you're smart enough to be in college, you should definitely be able to figure out how to get an ID to vote. That's the first thing. The second thing is,
that's such a straw man.
Let's assume, like, I don't even want to necessarily, like, we can talk about voter ID. The problem is, like, when you have the Democrats saying they support it, like at the political level, and the Republicans saying they support it, it almost doesn't seem like that's the argument, because everybody is sort of like on board with voter ID on a political level right now.
How is it not the argument? I'm confused about that.
Well, I'm very, again, like most Democrats, most Republicans.
I agree to that.
So yes, yep. The political establishment is saying yes. They're not engaging in the argument. The Republican establishment is saying yes politically. So there's not actually an argument on the merits of voter ID right now. The question is, did Chuck Schumer
the argumentation, the reason why they push back, which you understand, is that they don't want to they don't want people not being able to vote
because
of the bear.
No,
that is
legit
the argument.
No, I don't.
That's not
right.
That's the argument.
No. They are lying, not you. They are lying, not you.
Oh, okay.
If this was genuinely the feeling of like, well, actually, these incompetent college students, we have to like we can't trust them to get IDs. So
why do you accept that as an argument from him and not me here? That they're lying. They're lying. I've been saying they're lying the whole time, and he's like, no, only the lack.
No. He's following with that. He's following with a hypothetical. Like I'm saying, like or like a. I don't know the exact. Like, I'm saying here. I'm proving why. Because if Chuck Schumer was not lying, right? If he was not lying, if he was telling the truth, he would have tried to amend the amendment. He would have proposed a change. He would have said, actually, yours is good because it accomplishes what I said I want and what my base wants. Let's just do it this. Let's do it this particular way in order to encompass student IDs because we think that college students are stupid and they need help with that. Perhaps that is the these people who can afford to go to school. Yeah, I don't know. If that was the proposal they made, I would have an issue with that proposal on the merits. I would say this is fucking dumb. These are college students. Why the fuck are you treating them like a child, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But at the very least, not at the college students.
They are idiots and they lose their IDs all the time. It's
not if you're
in college, can't get an ID. It's that you lose your ID. It takes like 2 weeks to get it. You spent your last $20. So you don't have the $12 to get your ID.
If you're in college, if you're in a college, in my opinion, you should be able to figure that out or don't vote. Straight up.
Your opinion isn't law.
I understand. I'm not saying my opinion. You're lost. I'm not even saying my opinion is law here. What I'm saying is that if Chuck Schumer actually cared about that, what I consider to be a dumb objection, but if he actually cared about that objection, he would have proposed an amendment that allows for that objection to be addressed. But he didn't do it.
And then Madami shows that this argument's true whenever he requires ID for his new grocery store. Because why?
Because that's Ayatollah Mamdami
putting barriers to poor people getting food. That animal.
None of these. Latoid.
What you got?
So, Latoid, my thing is, I hear you, I understand, and I was thinking, like,
thank you, brother.
Okay, would you do an amendment? Would you propose that? Could you make the counter argument, and I'm hopefully you're good faith with this, that if they outline their criticism, which is very clear, the things that I elicit, regardless of your feelings, which of course you can have your feelings, I have my feelings about people too, but of course we understand that when bills and policies are put in place, it's in response to how people act versus how they feel. So when it comes down to it, though, can you argue that Husted, who knew what their threshold was, the one who created the bill, couldn't he have done an amendment? Why didn't he do one?
Because they didn't have a threshold. Because no. When you look at the amendment, no, stop.
I just gave it to you.
He proposed the amendment. Chuck Schumer, my understanding is correct. He didn't actually specify, like he didn't go into a shit ton of detail when he actually voted against it. And the actual movement against it, he didn't say this is what you would need to repropose in order for us to vote yes on this. That conversation never happened. It was never like that. They very vaguely cited this might prevent some people from voting, and they absolutely had the ability to either amend the amendment or tell Husted this is what you'd have to propose for us to vote yes on it. Neither happened. They just voted no.
At this point, we're playing he said, she said, because it's kind of crazy that they would make it very clear what their threshold is afterwards.
They didn't.
Things I just told you what it is, what they just said. So we're just making the argumentation that someone is either he didn't say it or he did say it, because they clearly said that our biggest concerns regarding this is student IDs and tribal IDs without expiration dates. That's what they said. So if that's their concern, and especially in regards to people potentially not voting, then Husted could have made an amendment to follow those very easy to understand thresholds.
No, where are you getting this? Hold on, wait, hold on. Wait. Where are you getting this? Where are you getting the specifically student IDs?
I got you.
Yeah, the Democrats would absolutely sign on to something related to voter ID if the Republicans would agree to funding a national ID for every adult citizen in the United
I actually doubt that. Do you really think that? I don't think they would do that.
Yes, they would. It's not because Democrats are in favor of it, but it would be a big enough win that people didn't have to go pay for licenses. They would fold on that if you made a national
but
ID.
you want? Oh, that's interesting. You want that to just walk me through this. I'm just trying to like understand. You want that to like double as like a driver's license or just as like an identification, state identification? So it'd be like a national, a national ID card.
Yeah, it could be a national ID card if you drive it. Also, if you could drive it like you can qualify for the driver one to be free. Democrats would fold on the voter ID for something in return. But I even dropped a link related to polling in this, and it's more accurate to what's going on. Radell actually opinion is closer to the common Democrat opinion. That's what I'm saying.
Wait, would y'all do that? Yeah. What would the other people say that?
Radell came out and said he's not opposed to voter ID, but it's not something that he's going out saying that like, yeah, this should be something that Democrats do. It's not something that Democrat voters are in favor of. They're just saying that like. They're probably in a state
where the other Dems on this panel agree with that policy.
But I'm going to need something in return for this.
I need a summary.
So, based upon what I've been reading, okay, I just want to make sure this is the correct CR, but it does say of this year. Chuck Schumer's argument is the reason as to why he voted against it was because of like he made a false claim talking about like how only 5% of Americans register to vote only in person, which isn't actually true. It's actually more like 11.2%. But the thing is like here is the bridge that I'm willing to extend, right? If we were to do like registration to vote, proof of ID and things like that, and like if people are able to like, I don't know, like register in person, or if they can't register in person because they're physically unable to, or they don't have public transportation get out there, would there be like a auditor to come out to their house to register them to vote or something like that? And then in that case, will we then actually be okay with people being able to send in mail-in ballots or absentee ballots and then just shut this whole thing up across the board? Because there is no proof that mail-in ballots actually bring in significant fraud. It's been argued, but it's not true. And then absentee ballots has always been proven to be successful. But would this be a good olive branch to extend to make sure that people can actually vote on time?
I guess I just want to know real quick, because there's 6 of y'all, and I guess this is you, Alex, as well, right? I want you to differentiate. I maybe missed something there, but like to Bam's proposal, since there's 6 of y'all, would you all agree to what Bam laid out just by itself? Like national ID, like everything he laid out, with that policy proposal that he put forward, would y'all all agree with that, or just like
just
a quick hand raise?
People money. It would be
affordable. Well, just a quick hand raise. Would y'all like that? Yes or no? Just like, you have something different.
Well, I already said that I'm a fan of national ID. So,
well, the thing is, Bam, like, I just got a quick question. Like, how would you go about would you like have like an auditor come out to somebody's house and say, hey, listen, so you're registered to vote, or like set an appointment with somebody that's part of the election committee or something? Because like this is the whole trick of it, because some people are unable to like make it down to like to register to vote. They can't do it in person. So what are some ways that we can actually fix that to make sure it's more amenable and more appealing to people who can't register to vote like in person? Like, I don't know, retirement home.
What I'm talking about is automatic registration at automatic registration at 18, because we already know who's in the country, and then like you get your ID mailed to you every 4 to 6 years. Again, it's a super simple process. Like that would be the capitulation. Like everybody has a voter ID, yeah, because the state gave us a voter ID.
It's just like a social security. Yeah, everybody gets like social security. It's very easy to obtain like a national ID too.
When I was active duty, like when I registered to vote for the state of Oregon, all I had to do was just take a copy of my front and back driver's license and then just send it back in, and then I was actually able to track my ballot when I was voting absentee. I mean, that's a pretty effective system, wouldn't you say? Like that'd be a good way to register to vote as well, wouldn't it?
So if you had to send in your license, I mean, don't get me wrong. I think it's feasible. I know that there's people who would struggle with that process.
You be allowed to get more.
I have a job that has things that are super feasible that people struggle with, and Democrat voters just aren't in favor of any process that makes voting even slightly more difficult. And the Republican rebuttal to this is like an infantilization. You're saying that minorities aren't capable or women aren't capable of doing. No one's saying it's not capable. We just don't want voting to be hard.
Well, I've actually heard some left-leaning people say some stupid shit like that before, but they're just an anomaly. Like I don't believe that shit.
Sure. So. But I'm just saying what it's really about is like, again, like you're not going to get. Democrats aren't in favor of making voting more difficult. Like and Twit seems to be under some impression that there's a world that they are. and that just doesn't
exist. Yeah. So I want to. So that's Gibbs. You asked whether I'm in favor.
Yeah.
And it's possible I missed some part of it. So if I did, then I apologize. Right. But like, I'm in favor of automatic voter registration. Like, there's no reason why
you get like a physical ID, like a national ID or something, and you would be okay with that.
Like if the state paper IDs, Democrats could give on voter ID. Like if they use like no one ever has to pay paper ID.
For like 18th birthday, it shows up in the mail, right? Like that seems pretty feasible to me, right? Like if
pretty easy,
like,
man.
I'm saying like if you lower this as much as possible, right? The barrier, then like I it's not like impossible for me to sign on to this idea. It's just that like I don't think. And I'm not going to put this words in your mouth, Gibbs, right? I'm not going to put any intentions on you.
Sure.
But I don't think that other Republicans actually are going to care about that. I don't think that's the point. It's simply
that's not what I'm asking. I'm just trying to actually look at policy, like because like so we have these combos. The reason I'm asking, I understand where you're supposed to go, is like we come in here, we talk a lot, we do a lot of rhetoric, right? I think there is ground Republicans would give right on this issue. Like I know. Listen, I don't like spending money. However, if I thought I could solve this permanently with like a one-time fee, and it's like, how much does it cost to make an ID? Like $20 max? I mean, it's got to be cheaper than that, probably.
Cents.
Cents, right? Especially if you use capitalism and make it at mass scale, and we have something solid. I'm sure that could be sold to Republicans, right? We're already sick of spending tax dollars on other shit. Let's use some of the USAID money for this shit. Like, all right, maybe we use some of the tariff dollars. Like, there's ways to sell this to them. I just like every time I hear like a policy like this, I feel like the issue is, who's actually going to be willing to like, and we don't need to get the exact nuts or bolts, but what is like palatable to like the other side? Like, I guess is what I'm
let me pick up on that because this is the part where I kind of lose the plot. I'm pro voter ID, but it's not because I think it's going to make our elections any more secure than they already are. I don't have that problem. I'm just personally in favor of state mandated ID, and I believe that the state should furnish it. A number of reasons I believe this, but it's not actually election security. The thing is, I think that's actually nationally popular. And the fact that the Democrats are like, hey, well, in any case, a capacity of making voter ID or making voting harder, that's a problem and they're not for it. I'm like, cool. I understand if you're not for that, you have an ethical problem with it. You do recognize it is pretty fucking unpopular, right? Like you should be having with just the average American.
It's not with the average man. That's what I'm saying. Like, look at the thing I dropped in chat. Look at the.
I saw it.
It's not popular. Democrats aren't in favor of voting being difficult.
Democrats aren't the average American. That's the majority of Americans. The average American or majority of Americans.
Well, but this is why like
this is from 2021.
But this is exactly why we need term limits though, because Chuck Schumer is
totally good after.
Because wait. Term limits are a completely different conversation. Let's stay on topic.
No. But here's my point though, is because Chuck Schumer is not exactly the best. He is the representative in the Senate, but I don't fucking like that because I think he needs to fucking go the way of the dodo, honestly, because he's fucking he's out there he's fucked up like a football bat basically. But the thing is like I understand the concerns that are there. Now he did address why he voted no against it. Now, could he have brought forth a better resolution like Lactoid said? Yes, of course. But the thing is, they're not doing that, though. They're not bringing forth any better policies as right now. It's still passed the House, but I think it's probably not going to pass the Senate, though. Anyway, I don't know where else I was going with that. So anyway, continue.
God damn it.
Lactoid.
Go
ahead.
Yeah. So a couple things. I just sent you. This is from Pew Research. I trust it more than this APM, but this is Pew Research. This is requiring all voters to show government-issued photo identification to vote. Government-issued, by the way, so not student ID. This is 95% Republicans, 83% of independents, 83% total, my bad, and 71% of Democrats as of the last, this is just after 2020, in 2025, the end of 2025. So this is, or mid of 2025. So this is from Pew Research. This shows that most Republicans and most Democrats do support requiring all voters to show government-issued photo identification to vote. Government-issued, not student ID.
How do you think that Rydell would vote on that poll? like based on
don't
his
put me in there.
No, I don't want you to answer. I want electorate to assume where he thinks Friday will fall on it.
Well, I don't know. How Riddell? How would you? How would you vote?
If I can't respond, then I can't.
He gave an opinion on it, and he said that he's like, I'm not against voter ID, but he asked for these other parameters and things like that. Where do you think he would fall? You think he would be if he got this poll? You think he would be one of the in favor or the opposed?
I think that if there was some law that proposed all voters to show government-issued photo identification to vote, for him in particular, because he has this sort of like, I want it to be like a federal voter ID that is issued to everybody, maybe he would vote no if he thinks that wouldn't happen. But if it's the vast majority of people, who are talking about, if it's the vast majority of people of government-issued IDs, the kind of the IDs that we're talking about that you need for everything else, yes, I think that he would probably say yes to that then. Like most Democrats, according to Pew Research.
Okay, well that again,
and not a 2021 poll from APM.
Sure.
I get one.
Maybe we'll both be wrong. I believe categorically, just reading that question, I think he would answer off like, I guess, because it doesn't separate between favor or somewhat or like neutral. It's just favor and favor. I think he would just say like, I'm not against voter ID. I'll check off favor here.
Sure.
Even though realistically, that's not his opinion.
Stop saying realistically that's not his opinion. I'm not talking about how enthused. Like I already agreed that I already agreed with you that the Democrats aren't as enthusiastic about this probably. They're much more enthusiastic about all sorts of other terrible things. Okay, but they do support this when given the choice. Yes or no? Do you want this or do you not? Over 70% said yes. Now I want to address Riddell. I want to address. But
I would vote yes on that poll based on
that's crazy. That's crazy. I want to address, I guess, Riddell. So a couple things. The first thing is, important clarification. It was not Chuck Schumer who brought up the student ID point or the tribal affiliation point. It was Alex Padilla, who was, my understanding, the only senator who brought up this point. His position on this is against what most Democrats believe, since most Democrats here, as we've established, support government-issued voter ID. These student IDs are not government-issued. That was one of the kind of concerns here of having student ID be allowed to vote. Now, I could assume this is why he was the only Democrat, like Alex Padilla, who's in a pretty liberal district. He was the only one who brought up this concern. And perhaps you could give me a solid argument that Alex Padilla specifically, because he has this crazy belief as to student ID, maybe he was actually being principled. But here's the thing, though. He would have had to, in order to be principled, in my opinion, would have had to like make some kind of statement or some kind of proposal saying, and if there was something coming in that had this student ID like allowance or whatever the fuck, then I would vote for it. He never said that. He never indicated anything to that. And his opinion, again, to emphasize this, is contrary to where most Democrats feel on this position because student IDs are not government-issued IDs. Chuck Schumer did not.
I mean, the conversation was like the people and the people who did not vote against it and the rationale was put out there. Unless we're making an argumentation that none of them are like talking to each other, because he also announced that to all the other Democrats, don't vote for it because of X, Y, and Z. So this was clearly an argumentation utilized from the people who decided to vote against it on why they're not voting. You can say that he's been more specific compared to the other ones. I don't really think it's really a good argumentation to say that he needed to include an extra bit of rationale in terms of I would do this if you did this, because this is something that we all agree with. Why would he give them more leeway in the politics game? I hate the politics game. I'm not a fan of it.
It's not leeway.
But it is leeway.
It's setting yourself up to for better political standing, right?
No, it doesn't. When it comes down to it, he doesn't want to give them anything for an olive branch to attach themselves or provide anything for a confirmative statement for a potential amendment that would happen later on, especially if there's like hidden things attached before. It's like, but we have this, and this. He doesn't want that attached to him unless he sees the next version of the bill. So, no, it's clearly a politics game to ensure you give yourself enough leeway.
Maybe
no doubt it is.
If you want to say it's a politics game,
it is.
Yeah, they're lying for a politics game, probably.
That's not a lie because he didn't.
No,
it
is. No. When Chuck Schumer says, the minority leader, not just this senator who's not the leader, who doesn't speak for the minority in the Senate right now, when you have the minority leader not bring this up as a point, when you have nobody else bring this up as a point, when the Chuck Schumer not only not bringing this up as a point, does not suggest at all that they would even consider this if it was altered, and they make no amendment of their own, which they could then call a Democratic amendment and try to use that to score some kind of political points, perhaps. Alex Padilla absolutely could have said, hey, like, I potentially would vote for this if you fixed all my issues with it, and here's all my issues with it. And then when the Republicans don't come back with that, because none of the other Democrats actually mentioned this wasn't like the issue, and they were all vague, and Chuck Schumer didn't even mention this, so they're not even going to bother bringing this back, Alex Padilla could strut around and say, hey, look, I proposed a change, and they didn't even bring me the change. That's why I keep voting no. But he didn't even bother doing that.
So I want to move on from this. I do want to move on from this. We've been on this particular subject for a while. I want to get Ty in because
it's a great example. That's why
he can get a point in. But like, I do want to move on to some wider questions I had previously asked. So let's go to Ty, and then we'll move on.
Look, just where this comes down. I wanted to outline that I have a hard time believing that the Democrats should be looking for anything in consolation for this as a policy. I might be biased here, but the vast majority of sources that I've seen indicates what Lactoid is saying, where the vast majority of people are in favor of election ID in some form or another. Now, granted, there's some leeway there. I get the argument, but to a large degree, it's vastly popular. And this is even among anecdotally in my life. The vast majority of Democrats I've talked to are in favor of this. Now, granted, I live in a state that this is already law, and it's been a law for a long time. So maybe it's just no big deal here. Tabling that, what do you think you can get for your consolation out of this? What are you willing to what does the Republicans have to give up on a popular issue to actually get this through? Because it's already mental to me that you're not the ones that have to concede to keep it. Like, that's wild to me.
I want to move on from there. I do want to move on from there.
Okay, we won't talk about it anymore. Back to the reasons that the election is going to be the things that are going to come up related to the election. I think there's just I said earlier, but the broader issue is none of these factors and none of these things that could be done that would make people feel more comfortable actually matter. Like I said, the real thing is, Prom actually said it earlier, is just waiting for Trump to leave office. The next Republican, I don't know, to lose an election. They're probably the next Republican to lose an election may say something. They won't say half as much as Trump did.
Let me split hairs with you, because I'm 100% that there's nothing that's actually going to change these people's minds. I think they're going to bitch all the way till the nth degree. Because they just don't trust the system and they don't believe the world exists in the way that it is. I think they're in rampant denial. But getting to what you're kind of talking about. I lost my train of thought.
Do you think that like Republicans at large really cared about what was going on in the LA elections?
I think they're happy just to bitch, moan, and scream about shit that they think is real but isn't.
I don't think they cared. I think Trump commented and they had to respond in tune. But
that's exactly it.
I don't think any actual Republican across the country believed that, like, wow, a Republican should have won San Francisco.
When Trump talks about it, then
I gotta get y'all's copium dealer, really, because that's.
But the thing is, it's true. Right there, guys. Because Trump, the only time that Republicans seem to care about voter fraud is when Trump talks about it. But the thing is, Trump.
That's what I wanted to talk about.
Yeah, because Pratt wasn't talking about it the whole time.
They didn't care about it during George W. Bush.
Yeah, so
crazy.
Hold on a second.
Hey, we're the ones that live in reality.
Okay, listen. They exhausted every option, and once that was over and done with, Al Gore conceded the election. Donald Trump is the only president in election of history that has never actually conceded a presidential election. He's the only president in history.
Look, I'm not going to disagree with that, but the thing I was wanting to say earlier is that I don't think Trump is the problem here. I think he's just the focal point, because he has made the choice to actually dispute elections. I won't dispute that. But on the other side is that I think the vast majority of Republicans in the current state believe that Democrats are cheating or stealing on some kind of level, regardless of anybody else saying it. Like, there is a deep level of distrust that these folks have when it comes to the average Democrat. Like, half these people think that you're all traitors. Like, straight fucking.
Sure, they may think it, but I think these thoughts will go away.
Maybe the actual party.
The way that you deal with it, it's we or imagine that this is like intrinsic to who these people are, but it's the diet of news media that they're fed. It's like people are going to people are going to exasperate and exhibit. They're going to exhibit the traits of the things that they're given and fed. And right now they're given election fraud. They're given like you can't trust the Democrat. Did you know dumb has a B in it? Like they're fed this over and over again. And that's what they're going to regurgitate because that's
you're literally spouting like propaganda and saying we're the ones that are fed right now. They think you have two Republican voters here, and you're telling us what we're thinking. Hey, this is crazy.
He's letting you know what you believe. First of all, I think Lagtor thinks differently about this subject altogether, right? Like I don't think you two are perfectly aligned on this, but I think Lagtor can make a. You think you're perfectly aligned?
No, I said we're not perfectly aligned.
Yeah, I agree with that.
But
for sure.
But I'm not saying that as a downer about Republicans. That's true for generally Democrats as well. Like the reason why we talk about party leadership as a thing is because people do follow that leadership standard. There was a change in people hated Barack Obama, absolutely, but there was a change in for a short period in the way Barack Obama was addressed, specifically after John McCain came out and said, no, he's not these things, he's just a person, and the party somewhat followed, but for a moment, like there's a reason why, even.
Oh no, I'm just gonna back you up. Like 100%, like leadership matters, right? Like most people are like fucking NPCs on these things, right? Like it just the way. Like sticking on Barack Obama for a second, I brought this up plenty of times, right? Barack Obama comes out for finally, right? For marriage equality, right? For gay and lesbian couples, and then they take a poll, right? And I think this poll might have been overall Democrats, but the part that sticks out for me, specifically for Black Americans, is just like there was a significant shift in favor of marriage equality immediately afterwards, right? And that's because there was no strong preference, right? You have asked them before, right? Well, as far as I know, it's illegal, and yeah, sure, whatever, right? It should stay illegal. I'm not for marriage equality. But then a person that they look to as a trusted leader comes out and says otherwise, and then they switch, right? But before, you might have been able to say, well, most Black people are against voter equality, right? And shouldn't that count for something? Actually, maybe not, because voter preference matters, right? Voter preference, priority, right? The strength of their preference that matters. And these things, especially things that are lower priority, can be shifted easily, right? So when we're talking about elections, like I said before, people don't care about elections. I wish they did. I truly did. I wish they did, but they don't. But what we see from the Republicans now, we see leadership, right? We see leadership specifically undermine these elections at every point in time, right? Backed by a media that says, well, he's right, it's undermined. Now, hold on, Gibbs. That doesn't mean that there's not some evidence, right? But I'm gonna put that evidence aside because Gibbs, you may know the evidence, okay? I'm gonna give you this. Let's say Gibbs, everything Gibbs has said has been right. Up till now, right? Let's just assume that, right?
As always.
That doesn't mean
that actually hurt me when you said that. I'm be honest. I'm like,
that doesn't mean that all those other MAGA Republicans know what you know, right? But still, they would agree with Gibbs. And
why do they agree?
That too.
That's blasphemy. The Christians would come after
because Trump has been saying it nonstop this entire time, right? And because it's been backed up by their media, right? Rightly or wrongly, backed up by the media. So I'm just saying that what Bam said is correct. Yes, leadership actually matters. Leadership moves numbers and supposed preferences and all these things. That happens all the time. Sorry, you can go.
Yeah, I mean, just one. I got to be honest, guys. First of all, this is a little concerning because we put out like a Goebbels-esque like caricature of a Republican. Like it's convinced me the socialists have infiltrated y'all, and that they are smart and it's evil. It's crazy. But first, like I don't know who these Republicans are like that like Bam described that are thinking that actually I do. Now that I say that, I can think of one like a guy right off the top of my head. There's a guy I know. We know him. His name's Spin. He comes in here using exact terms like Democrats and libtard, all this stuff. Okay, cool. I get a little flourishful in language sometimes, but they're like generally. When I'm sitting here, like Prime, at least I have evidence of some sort. Okay, that's a fair argument. However, I think that like there is a wide gap of why, just like Lactose is saying, where we don't agree on everything. How there's levels to this shit, right? Is the average Republican that's at a bar that's like maybe watches Fox News gonna say some of the Fox News talking points? Sure. Right? Are they going to have their little Facebook groups? Whatever. But like the idea that y'all are just going to underestimate, y'all are just underestimating all Republicans, that they're just these idiots that are not like, it's crazy. No, sure, not all. Yeah, but y'all say in mass when like it's kind of y'all been doing this, and I'm glad y'all are doing it, to be honest. Y'all are like doing this elitist, uppity thing that like is the thing that got y'all out in the first place.
Right? Democrats do too. It's not about.
I'm sure y'all do. I'm sure y'all do. But I'm saying that y'all are doing this thing where even if you don't know you're doing it, y'all are immediately assuming this stance that we know what's good for you, right? Republicans a lot of times will be like, and we don't always know what's supposed to. In fact, we'll make this argument all the time. I hear it at church. I hear it at other places. They go, "Oh, that's so and so's life. You go to church this way." Yeah, every once in a while. But when I'm sitting here, like you go and you sit here, you hear people say,
"Hey, he does have a degree in divinity."
Yes, I'm a prophet of divinity. Like I'm just saying. The point is, though, I hear this argument all the time. Republicans, it's their family, they're raising them their way. Who am I to judge? Who am I to do this, right? And so when y'all are sitting here saying this across the board, this model, all this thing, it's really crazy because it seems like to me y'all are the ones who bought into this propaganda, and y'all are the ones acting a little brainwashed and uniform.
No,
and
this is some bullshit. I don't know. Friend, that's not what I'm saying. Well, I can't speak for anyone else, right? So maybe some other people are saying that. But like, I'm saying that like most people aren't tuned in the way we are, right? They don't care to watch.
Yeah, well, no, of course. I'll grant all that. That's not what I'm talking about. But this caricature was just presented by Bam here, and it's like something that I see a lot of people are like kind of pushing on the like Democrats. So even in his space, I know you don't see that, but you don't see that in his space. Like we're like,
can I back up Gibbs for a second? So like this is, I felt it a little bit happen just before, and to give you credit, some of you were afterwards, after this happened, did like say, kind of go back and like sort of, it felt a little bit like lip service, but yeah, Democrats can do this too, but very often when the conversation happens about Republicans, like the phenomenon that Gibbs is describing, I have absolutely witnessed this time and time again. If you get enough like left-leaning people into a circle, they start complaining about Trump voters, and specifically the allegation always comes back to, well, they don't even know really what they're doing. They're just Trump says it and they just do it. They don't really think about things.
Yeah, fell for it again.
They're these children.
You guys are kings of the fell for it again award.
We have to come down from the ivory tower and help them up so they know.
The only way that can be is we got bamboozled. Like,
they got bamboozled. Yeah,
I'm gonna throw elbows on both sides of this. Look, I'm gonna be real with y'all. From my point of view and perspective, the superiority complex that the Democrats absolutely do have, I 1,000% agree with it, is equally matched by the inferiority complex that Republicans have. And I'm fucking sick of it because yes, Democrats are on their fucking moral ass high horse and they act like they're better than you. They're smarter than you. And more better than that, they're more moral than you. At the same time, Republicans just can't fucking get over this shit where it's like, yeah, you guys are now made up by people that aren't the educated bloc. There's nothing wrong with that. Y'all work hard. Y'all make America fucking work. There's nothing wrong with that at all. But stop pretending to be something that you're not. Like, stop acting like that you guys are the intellectual crew. You're not. Stop telling me that you've got these fucking studies.
I don't think Republicans claim to be like the intellectual class. I think the Republicans generally claim to have like, we have some more like life earned. Hold on.
The right just like on a pedestal is what's like driving people to us to some degree.
Republicans, stop. I think Republicans view themselves as having more like common sense life wisdom of like, well, we're the ones in like the factories that are working every day. We're the ones that see this shit. And maybe you have like a degree or whatever because you lesbian dance theory or whatever the fuck, right? Maybe they have like this degree above me, but that doesn't make you more intelligent than me. That doesn't mean that you actually can judge these things better than I can. Which, I mean, sorry, as somebody who went to college and knew a lot of people who went to college.
There's dumb people in college.
Probably went to more education than I think anybody here. I could be wrong. I think that it's fair to say that a lot of college kids are dumb, and I think a lot of college kids are overhyped. They dramatically overhype their intelligence, and I think that a lot of them are hyperfixated on certain majors that are useless and. A lot of them are less capable than some people who've been working.
The graduates do well. I want to go to Alex and then to Riddell. I have a postgraduate degree too.
All right. Me and you.
Listen, okay, Tiberius, you're right that sometimes Democrats, we are our own worst enemy. We tend to have the high horse bit, and that's something that we've got to get the fuck away from. We've got to go away from that. That's why I want all the establishment Dems just to fucking disappear. Go the way of the dodo. You guys are not helping us whatsoever. So that's part one. Part number two, the thing is the reason why we bring up why the Republicans will only do what Donald Trump says is because they fucking admitted it too. The second that you trust Donald Trump, you're going to get primary. Look what happened to Thomas Massey. Look what happened to Marjorie Taylor Greene. Look what happens the second you go against Donald Trump. You're basically trounced from the party. You're considered overrated. That's who he is. He demands loyalty while asking for none, while offering none in return. The thing is, this is the same president that says, "Oh, mail-in fraud is terrible," but yet he votes by mail. It's okay for him to do it, but nobody else can do it. Why? Because of rampant fraud. Still no proof of that whatsoever. We still haven't bothered to address that yet because there is no proof of this whatsoever. But I know you're still going to hear people, "Oh, well, that's because we haven't found it yet." Well, the thing is, though, that's how evidence is discovered. You have to show me the evidence. When they've done recounts, they've done audits, they've done everything you could possibly think of under the sun to prove that the 2020 election was, in fact, not stolen. But they're still trying to litigate the damn thing. Why? Because Trump can't fucking let it go. Why? Because he's a fucking loser. Yes, he won the second election. Yes, we conceded this election. Yes, he cannot run again. This is all absolutely 100% true because if he tries to run again, he goes against the Constitution of the United States. So that's one thing that definitely cannot happen. And I'll finally land my plane in this regard, okay? If the Democrats actually do want to win, okay, we got to stop playing fucking defense and stop playing the fucking Republican stupid ass game. That's what they're fucking doing, though. We have to focus on the policies that actually do benefit the actual average American. And if we really want to win the midterms, stop talking about impeaching Donald Trump. It's not going to fucking help us. It's not going to fucking help. Voter ID is not even a top 10 issue, honestly. I'm sorry.
That's what Democrats want?
No, I don't care.
Because impeachment came up as a topic?
Well, the thing is,
not here, but I'm just saying, is that a thing going into the election?
Yes, they're already laying it out.
It's really not a big.
But has it been prominent?
Okay, let me ask you all a question. What do you think people care more about, voter ID or healthcare?
Democrats probably
healthcare. Well, everybody thinks healthcare.
Most Republican voters want healthcare.
Do you think Republicans care more about voter ID or immigrants?
They care about
immigrants more.
Immigrants, right? And then the border.
Well, immigrants
and it's bringing manufacturing back.
Here's my point.
But the immigration thing is also relevant to voting.
Immigration thing is right in there with the voter ID part. What are you talking about?
It really isn't, though. But here's the thing.
It is.
If they get rid of all the illegals, they don't need voter ID, right?
Well, I can tell you why immigration is absolutely relevant to voting.
I understand how,
and it doesn't have to do with illegal. It doesn't have to do with illegal immigrants themselves voting.
The college, yeah,
it's got to do with the House of Representatives and the Electoral College.
That's true as well. But I would also argue that with voter ID specifically,
it's got to do with abortion.
It has to do with immigration as well. It's a part,
which is why the Democrats voted against the Republican attempts to remove that.
I know the talking points.
Yeah, I just had to really finish real quickly. But the thing is, voter ID, it's again, they're worried about issues that are once again statistically irrelevant. I keep bringing this up. They're worried about voter ID.
Doesn't matter. It's popular.
I don't give a shit if it's popular or not. It's
true.
Irrelevant. The reason why we talk it is because Donald Trump fucking talks about it. He's a polarizing figure. He's the president of the fucking United States. That's what it is.
Where do you think he gets his talking points from?
I don't give a shit. He gets it from Fox News, probably.
I don't care who has it.
Heritage.
Okay, you guys.
Stephen Miller. Alex, I want to talk to you, man.
Fuck Stephen Miller. Fuck Baby Goebbels. He can go fuck off for all I care. Okay. Fuck that
Alex. I like your energy.
Please,
let me finish. I gotta finish. Okay. I'm almost done though. I promise you. Okay. The thing is like I keep bringing it up. They're focused on all the issues that don't fucking matter. They're focused on voter ID. They're focused on migrants. They're focused on Muslims. They're focused on the trans community. They're focused on all these people to get people talking because they are the most polarizing issues. But they're not fucking relevant. But that's all the Republicans have. After that, they have shit.
Those are relevant issues, guys.
Trans people aren't relevant.
I want to.
None of that was relevant. Listen, none of those issues were relevant, guys.
Alex, they're good because it works. I want to have this conversation with you. They do it because
they are relevant because people think they're relevant.
Boogeyman shit.
It's they
think all trans people are boogeymen that are fucking coming in
all the other ones before that.
It's a cultural wedge issue. Yeah, we got it.
I don't think they think all trans people are boogeymen.
Nah, for sure.
It's the Muslims and the transes. They're gonna get you, brother.
Prime, it's your show.
That is the talking point
with Alex on this.
It's not the talking point. It's not the talking point.
It is the talking point.
No,
it is. Anyhow, when it comes down to
happy for the midterms. What y'all saying?
Yeah, we're in a pretty good spot.
I mean, y'all's not understanding Republicans is crazy.
No, I understand Republicans pretty well. I will say I don't the idea that a lot of Republicans, specifically online. Okay, this is the important separator, which I do think you guys are alluding to, which I think it's appropriate. If we're talking about like the average right-wing person who may have voted for Trump based off like false promises, yeah, I don't think a lot of them are nutso and crazy. I've said that consistently, to be honest. I do think they're uninformed. I think that can apply to a lot of voters in general, but the uninformed voter who votes for Trump is a little bit more problematic because of the lies that obviously turn into more nefarious intentions. Ultimately, though, the people that we're referring to, that I would refer to, especially people who comment in my comments and what I see in terms of political pundits in the media, especially people in just like Twitter and all that stuff, the online people 100% just regurgitate all the MAGA talking points constantly. It's a cycle. It's an intentional cycle. They all say the same thing. The moment something happens, all have the same exact line. Copy, paste every single time. So, yeah, of course they have the same talking points and they got to push it out as much as possible, because the most important thing is not necessarily like all of them believing it. It's them filling the media with as much of the talking point as possible for exposure. Because if people who don't really understand what's going on and they see it all the time, of course, there's going to be an inclination to either believe it or at the very least have that in the back of their mind when they're making important political decisions. And that's obviously problematic. So if we're talking about the most important part regarding a informed voter, it is how they consume the media. When it comes down to right-wingers, it is the worst part of this entire conversation with the Trump propaganda consistently getting pushed out. I do think the overall sentiment regarding like the superiority stuff, I think you can make an argument that can be problematic, especially if we're kind of creating this divide that can never be gapped, because a lot of us are just like, or a lot of people are just like Americans who want a better America. And I think that's probably the best way to kind of look at the average voter. But MAGA online people, nah.
I have a one-word response to all of that. Ready? Cope. That's that.
Democrats talk to all the poorest people, the poorest Americans. I don't like the ivory tower thing. Like, I don't know. I don't buy into it.
Yeah.
Nothing I said was cold.
Gibbs, you have a way with words.
That was a weak response. That was a weak ass response, Gibbs.
It's pretty much 100% accurate.
He has a way with words.
That's a subjective opinion, sweetheart.
You're giving Gibbs what Trump.
It's a debate panel, of course. It's subjective opinion.
Exactly.
But he didn't say anything.
He doesn't have a study showing that it's cope.
But you're still giving him energy. What actually matters?
It was so fucking funny. I mean, it wasn't even that fucking funny. What the fuck?
Let's move on. Bam.
I got cooked, man. Alex,
what actually matters in the grand
Gibbs,
scheme
we can hear you giggling and wiggling.
Yeah, this election is going to be ran on the failures of the Iran war. It's going to be ran on the rising costs related to gasoline and grocery prices and Trump's failed promises related to the things around bringing costs down. And it's probably going to be ran on general corruption. There's going to be some issues related to fraud. There's going to be some people who feel some way related to immigration, but Trump for the most part has what will the administration, what do they have to stand on? Like, oh, we're really going to start getting the immigrants now. You had 2 years and you didn't do anything to satisfy anybody. ISIS is out here killing people. They don't have a positive opinion in the street. Yeah, the midterms isn't going to go well. And I think Trump is also already starting his own cope to like acknowledge it. I think there was a quote today of him coming out saying he actually doesn't really care about what happens in the midterms because he's going to be doing things related to executive orders and pardons. Like he doesn't feel like he needs to do any more. Like he's saying that he doesn't need to do any more legislation.
Of course, he's going to lose
the next 2 years. But
this happens every time.
No, but he in the House. But I think it's over 50% chance they lose the Senate. Like I think Texas is going. I think Tyler Rico's winning Texas.
It's possible, but again, there has been every midterm. Like I think in the vast majority, essentially been recording it. Like, well, I guess we've been recording from the beginning or whatever. But the vast majority of the time, when one party wins the election,
they lose the midterm. How they lose the midterms matters.
Yeah, I very well
losing 7 seats versus losing 57 seats is going to be different.
Here's my prediction.
Bam is correct.
I think it's very possible the Republicans hold on to the Senate. They of course are going to lose the House. I think they're not going to lose it as much as you think they're going to. They're still going to lose it. They're going to lose.
Oh no! There's the redistricting battle is going to make it closer. Like if none of this redistricting stuff happened,
now that is cope.
A bigger wave.
I'm going to say.
Not you. Democrats are going to have the majority, but it's not going to be a 60.
I said the Democrats are going to win. What's cope about that?
That they're not going to win as much. Yeah, that's
as much as like what some people are saying.
They poll better in the summer. There's not even polling that far ahead.
I don't
know.
It's not a good year. The available, like, it's not about like who's doing well. The available seats in the House don't favor. This actually isn't even a favorable year for Democrats. 2028 is actually a much better year for the seats that are coming available for Democrats. Democrats are going
not the House. It's House. Everyone.
No. That's what I was referring to. The House. That's what I was referring to.
Yeah, I was referring to the House. Democrats are going to win the House.
Yeah, it's not going to be dramatic.
This is what I'm saying. It's not going to be. Well, I think the Senate. Yeah, I think the Republicans are going to hold on to the Senate. I could be wrong on that. The Democrats are for sure going to win the House, but I don't think it's going to be as much. Sort of exactly from what Bam is saying. The popularity of the Democrat Party is very low right now, below Trump.
That's true.
It's substantially.
The Democrats are off.
The Democrats.
The party doesn't really say much about how people feel about any individual candidate, though. Like
the thing is that like Republicans are motivated.
Well, it's a fair point, but like I think it's based on, I guess, my fucking reading of the entrails. Log it, right? I think it's going to be Democrat victory in the House. Not as much as what some people say, oh, they're going to fucking wipe him. I don't think they're going to fucking wipe him. I think it's going to be closer than people think. But Democrats are going to win. And the Senate's
it's going to be closer, but I don't think it's
Republicans are probably going to hold on, but they could lose.
I think the Republicans are very motivated. They're like, this is supposed to be this is like, okay, if the Dems get back, they're gonna do all this. I feel like they're pretty happy. Like if you see the polling, they're pretty happy with MAGA, right? They're pretty happy with the Trump. So within his own party. So they're gonna be. It feels like they're gonna be very highly motivated to go vote. So if the Dems, who are demoralized and don't really seem like they have a clear direction, don't turn out in the numbers they're expected to, the Republicans are gonna have a lot better day than people are gonna give them credit for. Just by like voter turnout on the left.
Here's another poll.
Wait, what you're saying isn't even true. But even if you agree it was true, heavy voters don't
vote. Your statistics and shit.
Well,
that's
heavy voters aren't excited
depends.
to go to the polls. It's the opposite.
It really depends on who makes the president. Well, here's the thing. Like, it really depends on who makes the primaries. Like, for example, like Michigan, our primaries is tomorrow. Like for U.S. Senate, right? Between Haley Stevens and Abdul El-Sayed. If Abdul El-Sayed wins, more people are going to turn out to vote the election. But if Haley Stevens ends up winning, less people are going to turn out because progressives don't fucking like her. I know, because when I was the Democrat, no, they don't fucking like her. Dude,
I agree to that, but that doesn't necessarily translate to Michigan voters. I understand what you're saying.
Yeah. Go ahead. But the thing is, like, less Democrats are going to turn out to vote because they don't fucking like Haley Stevens. When I was at the convention, like Mallory McMorrow, when she was on stage, she got a lukewarm response. People cheered for Abdul. When Abdul went on the stage, everybody in the auditorium gave him a standing ovation. When Haley Stevens went on stage, everybody fucking booed her from start to finish. Like, she finished, to her credit, she finished it. But that's the thing. Like, Democrats are less popular because the people feel that the Democratic Party nowadays is out of touch with everybody else. That's why we're trying to get younger candidates and newer fresher faces instead of these establishment Democrats. That's what we need to do. Like progressive Democrats
is picking the weirdos though.
Well, we're like weirdos. Yes.
Well, who's going to be more motivated to vote when you have the Ayatollah Madami doing crazy shit in New York? You have the DSA.
Hey, don't make my joke like that.
Then you have the DSA, which has policies that are similar to the Nazi 25-point plan. And then you have
the DSA is taking over your whole party.
Then you have totally not a Nazi.
Yes, damn right it is.
It's the Muslim takeover, baby.
I don't like the DSA. I want to be very clear. I think
which
it's
party
yeah,
should be more motivated to vote?
is
Who's going to be more motivated to vote? The Republicans are like, holy shit, they're putting Nazis, commies, and the Ayatollah in power. Or the Dems are like, oh my God, what's happening to our party?
What's wrong with you? You can't be a Nazi and a commie at the same time.
I said it's called and. There's a three different
groups of people. You said Nazis, commies, and that's what you said.
Yeah.
Okay, but
you
anyway,
understand the DSA and the Ayatollah, different people, right?
Here's the difference. We actually got.
Can I get a wall between these two?
Here's the thing. He's no longer running anymore, so you don't have to fucking worry about him.
Madami's in office, isn't he? Oh, well, cool. Thanks for proving my point again.
Madami should be president.
Well, fucking what? He's the most popular in New York City. New York City is actually liking the guy.
Oh yeah, I can tell.
If Trump can get a third term, Mamdani should get to be president once.
A rug. I pointed in direction of New York City, and I prayed to my leader, Mamdani.
He's benefiting from the Knicks winning, but I think he's the most popular politician in the U.S. right now.
Really? I think that might be correct.
Yeah. He's
putting in that war.
Even like crazy and for him, but
he's following up on his promises.
He plays politics somewhat smarter. I don't like what he did by like endorsing Democratic primary opponents. That issue.
I agree.
I'm okay with DSA people having. I'm okay with DSA people having their opinion, but I think that like if you're DSA. And you
the liberals won't go vote if the DSA people get elected. So there's a course order out.
No, they will. But I'm saying, but I'm just saying
that's going to be discouraging.
They'll still vote.
So we lost you, Bam.
DSA muted you, Bam.
Yeah, the DSA got it.
Sorry, Bam. Yeah, I don't know what happened.
It was the socialist SS that got him.
There we go.
The socialist SS.
For a second, you came. Oh, now you're back. You're back.
I'm back. Yeah, the issue I have with the DSA candidates is I'm fine with them running in primaries and winning elections. I do think the issue is once you win an election, if you're running within the party, I think once you become a member of the party, you need to be a member of the party.
They seem to always moderate.
Yeah, the Socialist Party.
No, they seem to always the Democratic Party. The party
they seem to always moderate more towards what you need in order to get what they want.
Socialist Party.
Well, no, I'm just saying that like you, whenever it comes to the next election, you should support incumbents. If you're a part of this party,
no,
support who you like. You support who you like.
No, not if you're in a party. That's the difference of the party.
No, you support what you want.
Yeah.
So you're saying the leader of the Democratic
Party, you support who your constituents would vote for.
No, let me ask this: so should the leader of the Democratic Party endorse a Republican?
Oh no! I'm not talking about the leader.
Yes,
I get you in terms of the leader. Fair enough. I get you in terms of the leader, but like in terms of like no. The rank and file. No. When I talk about the rank and file, actually, we need to encourage churning, right? Like shout out to the Republican Party, shout out to them during the Tea Party moment, right? Where there's that great churn within the Republican Party that makes it into what it is today.
But they can rebuild from the ashes.
And Donald Trump is along those lines. Actually, yes,
the new American Empire,
like the Great Phoenix.
There was a lid on Republican voters, like on people like our friend Gibbs, right? Where they were being ignored. But these people were members of the party. They wanted their issues heard. Absolutely, they should be heard, right? On the other hand, in terms of these progressive issues, the Democrats, the corporate Democrats, have been ignoring them for so goddamn long. Actually, fuck incumbency. Fuck that, right?
Yeah, fuck your incumbency.
I don't care about Ron. You're giving your moral opinion. I'm talking about how to run.
Yeah, preach, Prime. Tell them.
Well, no. I'm talking about how. No. I'm not just giving my moral opinion. I'm talking about how to keep a party healthy. Actually, yes, you have to toss out the dinosaurs. 100%. They shouldn't be there for decades in the first place.
We need Nancy Pelosi again.
strong. Yes,
Republicans.
And just in general, we should have we should seek strong primary challengers for everyone, right? Even the people I like. AOC, give her a strong primary challenger. Name, go down the list. Zora Mamdani.
She is a dinosaur. You're right.
We should constantly have the churn. Constantly have to fight for your seat.
Actually, that's not a functional. That's not a functional system. You should support strong.
Yes, very functional. Well, here's the thing. Like, Ali and I actually talked about this because I talked to him like after the election. We talked about like after the during 2024. I did a full assessment as to why we lost 2024 election. One of the reasons as to why is because like. During the DNC, we allowed members of like the Jewish caucus to come up and speak. Nobody from the Arab caucus, nobody of Palestinian State was allowed to talk. Nobody was made to be a part of the conversation. Kamala Harris did a behind the doors meeting. Donald Trump did one. Exposure is everything. Optics is absolutely everything. And if you don't make people part of the conversation, they're not going to fucking vote for you. This is what I keep telling like all the big streamers out there that said, oh, just go with the establishment. No, dude, don't go with the establishment because that's why we're in this position. The Democrats are in this position because we've gone with the establishment. They're no longer working for us. They're now working for basically for themselves and they're fucking big buyers and shit like that. All their corporate donors.
They're not worried. They're not worried about losing, right?
I'll give a perfect example of why everything y'all said is wrong. The reason why Tallarico has a legitimate chance of winning Texas is because the Donald Trump, I'm going to say Republican Party, Donald Trump decided to primary John Cornyn.
No, it's because they hate why the Democrats are going to win. You don't understand Texas politics. Let me tell you why he's got a chance. It's because Paxton is like the most corrupt motherfucker in the world.
Right.
And everybody in Texas knows it. No, hold on. We all knew it. Well, maybe that may be true, but regardless, like if what's his name wins, if Tallarico wins, it's more a statement on Paxton's bad as a like leading candidate nationally than it is on Trump. The other thing I want to point out, though, it is so bad. But this is the same thing as with Beto. Is this always happens in the summer, and then everybody in the winter, the Republicans come back from vacation, and the polling as well. It happens every time, every single time. So this is my worried face. I'm not concerned at all about it. So
Beto never let overtake.
I mean, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But whatever. I would be pretty surprised.
Tallarico is the racist one against white people, right?
Yeah. Well, something like
self-hating guy.
Let's take Trump out of the situation for a second because he's a bit of a wild card. Okay, right? And again,
we have to deal with the reality happening.
No. I agreed with you previously, right? That maybe the head of the party shouldn't necessarily be encouraging fights against incumbents, right? Fair enough, right? So I'm just trying to pull him out for a moment. The point is, no, I'm trying to get to the heart of what you're saying, though, right? I'm saying, hey, we should encourage more primaries, right? So let's just take Trump out, but still, he gets primaried. Jonathan gets primaried, right? And then Ken Paxton wins the election, right? Like in that situation, yes, there's a chance to lose, right? But if
makes your party worse,
John Thune is not doing a good job, right? He's not going to do a good job to convince his constituents to send him back. Actually, he should leave. He should not be there, right?
That doesn't mean he's not doing a good job. You have to pay money in these
because you can't rely on basic incumbency. I remember
people
John
don't
Thune,
believe
so
he's doing a good job.
Hit the checkbox, right?
Again, that's what Cornyn got kicked out. Nobody liked Cornyn. He was doing a terrible job.
What are you talking about? Right? He was the second leader of the party.
Yeah, he was
doing a good job.
Yeah, to go, bro.
His only issue was with Trump. John Cornyn was the leader of the Republican Party.
Bro, I don't know. You can go up check my social media. I've been bitching about John Cornyn
all the legislation
his whole career.
Financial raisers for the Republican Party. What do you mean John Cornyn was doing a good job?
That means nothing. He's a Texas Senate guy. Of course he's going to raise a fuck ton of money. That goes hand in hand. It's oil and cattle. We got money down here. Of course, one of the Texas senators is going to raise that shit. The point is, he was dog shit. Even the neocons barely like John Cornyn. He just has old Texas connections. Hold on. There's an oligarchy in Texas, where just like there is everywhere, and he had the right fucking network. That's how he was in there. He was old Bush. He was old Perry. He had the plug.
Right-hand man. He was number 2 in
the party. I'm just telling you how it is. He was not popular here. He was the old guard, and we wanted his ass out. And he was, if it wasn't going to be Paxton, it was going to be Hunt. Hunt almost wanted it. Oh, well, bro, I would have fucking voted for Tallarico over Cornyn almost, just to get rid of him, because I know we'll beat Tallarico the next election.
John Cornyn was 15 Cornyn had to go. Of Tallarico.
Yeah,
good.
Yeah, the thing that you're not getting, Gibbs, about our friend Bam is Bam's an institutionalist, right? He's talking about protecting the institution. So in this case, he's talking about protecting the GOP. That's his focus, rather than who represents the people best.
That's what I'm saying. I don't care about your moves.
Yeah, but the institutions in Texas are changing. There's a new power in Texas, and he's gone.
His responses to you, Gibbs, isn't about like how great John Cornyn was doing for you, right? As his constituent, right? And like
before the institution,
what he brought you. Instead, he talks about his seniority. He was the right hand man.
But here's the point:
the leadership, right?
He's been there forever. You also have to remember,
that's all that matters.
I understand
that institution.
Yeah, but okay. The point is
how to run a functioning party.
Yeah, but the party is functioning. We're fucking thriving.
If you don't want parties, make that argument. But don't tell me what you're saying is better for running a functioning party. It's not. It's worse. Your politics are bad.
But okay, brother, listen. I'm just telling you right now.
The people losing.
Whether you think my politics is bad or not, is the party has been.
He's talking about crime.
The Republican Party has been very successful in recent days in implementing an agenda that most of the Republicans are finding favorable. You can look at this from polling results. Now, whether you think that's good or bad party thing doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. None of this matters. The point is, Cornyn has been fighting against some of that, and a lot of Republicans within the party are ready to get rid of him. Right?
He voted with Donald Trump 99%.
If I vote 99% and the 1% are the key issues, well, guess what? It's time to get gone, brother.
Most of these
Republicans do the same thing. Most Republicans do the same thing. He had to go. Like I'm just like
Gibbs. If
I don't know right in the second. I wasn't prepared for a Cornyn debate, but if you want me to go pull my notes up,
you don't know why
like 2 minutes. I'll pull it up.
You have no idea why you don't like
Cornyn. Oh my lord! I have
I don't remember like exactly everything my senator has like voted on.
I can give you 2 minutes. I can pull it up like off.
I can tell you exactly why I support John Ossoff.
What he's old guard? He's a fucking neocon, and we want something further. Like his foreign policy shit. Like I just gave you one. He's his foreign policy. There's one right there.
Do you think we should primary all of our good candidates? Do you think we should?
Just because I gave you one off the top of my head, but
obviously,
I mean, if they're good candidates, they'll win.
The SAVE Act was the big one, by the way. I know that one.
May the best candidate win.
All right. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna start wrapping things up. We're gonna give Ty want to jump in, so we'll give him the floor. But then we're gonna go do outros, and then
Oh, we can actually move on to outros because I was actually going to ask, because I'm not a resident of Texas, how much longer you wanted to go? Because I figured it was
it's the same time every time, man. It's 11:30, dude.
I haven't been here for a while. I apologize.
No problem. But in any case, so I think I actually wish we had more time for this part of the discussion because something I've been more passionate about myself. I think there's interesting. I'm actually really. Because Bam is used to arguing against me on this particular thing. We've gone back and forth, right? But I'm actually quite interested in seeing Bam argue against, Gibbs and Lactoid and conservatives and just other people about this. Because I have my thoughts, but I'm sure you guys are very different. Maybe we gotta make this
next week
a topic or something. Yeah, if you guys are around, it'd be nice to really explore this. But anyway, thanks so much, guys. This was fantastic. I had a lot of fun. We kind of bounced around. I wanted to kind of focus more on Trump and whether he would actually steal the election, right, and get people's thoughts on that. But that's okay. I mean, we still had a really a great conversation. If you guys liked it at home, consider following the channels, whatever channels you happen to be watching on, hit the follow button. Consider supporting the channel in any way that you can, right? By subbing or super chats or all that. But yeah, I want to again thank my fantastic group of friends here, cast members who came through. Let's give a outro to everyone. We'll start with our friend Lactoid.
I'm Lactoid. You can find me at Lactoid TV on Twitch, Twitter, and YouTube. Trump is not going to try to steal the election, and I think the Democrats pose a fundamental threat to our constitutional order.
Okay, thank you so much, friend. Let's go to Ty, and I was really happy to have you here, Ty. It was nice to see you again. Like you said, you may not be here, very often. It's however you feel about it, but it it was nice having you. I like we missed you.
I appreciate it. Long story short, I don't know how I feel about politics anymore because I have lost on pretty much every major election for the last 8 years, or actually going on 10 years now. Like most of the candidates I want to see win just lose, and that's on both sides of the aisle. So I'm, whether it be politically homeless or just a fucking annoyed, it's definitely both. Part two, some of the actors in this environment or this community, not yours, Prime, but just in general, are very questionable people. And when one of them gets outed every 6 months for doing some pretty heinous shit, you kind of wonder how much you should invest your time and decency into some of these folks. So I had to take a step back because there is some people who have been elevated that I find very questionable. And we just keep getting story after story about how another person is. So, yeah, I don't know how invested I want to be here, but I'll tell you what, Prime, if you like having me around or you want to pick my brain about something, by all means, invite me to the next panel, and we'll see what we can do. As far as that, if you all hate my opinions, you don't want to see me back, go tell Lethe's stupid. That's all you got to do. But if you want to see me back, just send me invites. I know Gibbs has got a show, and I know you do too, Prime.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. Let's go to our friend Gibbs. Thanks for coming, Gibbs, and shout out to you and all that you've been doing with the con, the gas, not gas con.
Thank you.
The grid. You know what it is.
Yeah, grid con. Hey, anybody want shirts? We got them for $20. Yes, thank you so much for that, bro. Yeah, thanks for always having me whenever I'm available to be. So I love coming here. It's one of my favorite places to be. Also, I'm really excited. Guys, I'm really excited. You are really making me happy as Democrats, telling me all the things I've been hoping to hear. Like this counting that Republicans are just dumb, uneducated sons of bitches that don't know shit about nothing. It's really helpful to us. I love it as a voting point. We're motivated. We're excited. Speaking of Texas specifically, guys, y'all see what Talrico is, and Abbott, he's a bit shit, but comparatively, dear God, I don't think we really have a choice here on that one. At least Paxton, get shit done. Now, as far as everything else, guys, I think I would love to continue this conversation. This is a good one. It's a good one. I wish we'd gone longer. But yeah, if you like everything I have to say or like where I'm at, check me out as Admiral Gibbs. We're gonna be doing some cool stuff very soon. Thanks for having me.
I wanted to say quickly, and I want to put this down as a marker. Unfortunately, our friend Corey isn't here to be the memory bank, right? But I think that it's going to be a massive Democratic wave, at least in the House, right? And I think they'll capture the Senate, not by a huge amount, right? I don't expect it to be like a 60-40 type situation. But I think they're definitely going to capture the Senate. So I just want to put this out here, right? Maybe I'm wrong later on, and our friend Lactoid will be able to gloat, in Gibbs, you'll be able to gloat. But yeah, I just want to put my marker down. I stated my opinion, so we'll find out. Let's go to our friend Alex. Alex, thank you for being here. You've been a lot of fun.
I appreciate it, man. So long story short, I don't know. It's too early to say if Trump's actually going to do anything. But the thing is, though, when it comes down to voter fraud, that guy has a serious hard-on for it because he can't shut up about it. It's like his favorite thing to talk about, essentially, aside from the fact that he fucking golfs too. But when it comes down to it, at the end of the day, I stand by what I say. It's time for the establishment Democrats to go because they are always getting in the way of progress. Nancy Pelosi, when we had a chance to put something in the House Oversight Committee, whether it was AOC or Jasmine Crockett, she opted for a guy that had throat cancer, okay? That's how fucking bad it is. So the fact of the matter is that we need to get more young, fresh blood in there. We got a lot of great candidates that's running for this, like for Congress, for CD9. We got Ray Pooley, who's a chicken tender and a manufacturer who's running against Lisa McClain. We got people down in CD10. There's a lot of great candidates that's running for this election. And I already did my early primary voting, so now we're just going to find out. Tomorrow's our actual primary itself. And at the end of the day, if the Democrats want to have a chance, don't fumble this, okay? We got great candidates right now. Don't stick to business as usual because we are not in the business as usual. Like if it was the good faith Republicans we were dealing in the 90s, that's one thing, but we're not. We're dealing with a bunch of MAGA turds basically that are basically just turds in the punch bowl that are just fucking this country up to no end. They've had the House and the Senate and they're still bitching, okay? Fact of the matter is, okay? But get us some good candidates, strong candidates that are actually going to help us get forward progress, okay? And this is why I'm saying, and I'm definitely putting this in my endorsement, Abdul Sayed for U.S. Senate. The dude's a great guy. I think he's going to make a great U.S. senator. I land my plane.
Don't call him a chicken tender.
Yeah, he's a chicken tender. He tends to chickens.
Okay.
Yeah, I told him because he's against data centers. He said free range chicken's not data centers, so he actually liked that too. So,
I don't think Gibbs is a turd, right? That he's a golden nugget right now, if anything. But he's definitely not a turd. Shout out to my friend Gibbs. Let's go to Riddell. Thank you, Riddell, for being here as well. I think you had some really good interjections here. I really appreciate you.
Yes, sir. I think these are always fun. I think there's a lot to gain from these conversations. Riddell, I run a podcast called The Purple Political Breakdown, where I go over like political analysis, political news coverage. I also focus on local politics. I live in Ohio, so I talk about that, the election, and try to, inform Ohio voters better in terms of what's coming up next. For example, Max Miller sucks. Don't vote for him. With that said, I do think this conversation was interesting, of course. Donald Trump, and will he attempt it? I mean, he's kind of already attempting it with the USPS stuff that he's been doing recently. Will it be successful? I think the guardrails will hold. I hope the guardrails will hold. Overall, though, I do think there's, fun things to talk about for like the substantive, disagreements that me and Latoid were having. And then Gibbs is a lot of fun, I will say. It's interesting to see the mindset of Gibbs, and he does represent a large chunk of the right-wing base. And I do think like 80% of the time he's trolling, so maybe I give him the benefit of the doubt. So with that said, great to speak to you guys, and some disagreement with like the establishment Dem stuff. We'll save that for a different day.
Thank you for being here, Ali.
You guys let the Republicans steal the conversation with the rhetoric. This became about voter fraud and the Democratic Party and voter ID rather than stealing shit. And it just goes to show that, the Republicans, they got that rhetoric down. They can whip a conversation up, which is our argument to the Democrats. Democrats kind of you guys fell into that. I watched the whole time. I was like, I have no opinion really on voter ID, so that's why I kind of just chimed in when I could. But I watched it happen. I was like, I really want to talk about Trump being king. I think that's actually going to happen. I think we're gonna have a wartime president. I think we're gonna be in Iran for a little bit of a while. We don't get out of Iran quickly. This isn't a thing. But till next time. DSA. DSA.
Absolutely.
Don't DSA, please, God, Dibs.
Please don't. Please don't.
Let's go to our friend Bam. And Bam, like, I would like to, assuming like no, like, ground shaking news happens during this week, right? But like, I would like to have that incumbency discussion next week. We wouldn't need you though, because I don't know if anyone's gonna fight for the incumbency as hard as you will, honestly. But like, if you're available next week, and again, nothing big happens between now and then. I would love to do like a talk on, should we protect incumbency?
There's absolutely, with this presidency, there's almost no chance that something big doesn't happen this week. But let's take a chance. We'll take that chance. I love to. Bam. I do think that there's going to be attempts made to interfere with the election. Again, the only reason it's not going to succeed out is because Donald Trump isn't currently popular enough for it to happen. And he is doing what he always does and throwing everyone around him under the bus. I think it hasn't quite been released yet, but I think it's as close to confirmed as possible that Janine Pirro's been fired as a district attorney.
You think she's been fired? I heard she got yelled at because of
she was just leaving the West Wing with like documents, like a suitcase in a box. Like why would she show up to the White House?
I didn't see that part. Okay,
yeah. I mean, she hasn't, like I said, and I'm not. It's not breaking news. It hasn't been confirmed yet, but it is not looking good for her. And I think that again, he's gonna whine and moan on the internet. His talking heads are gonna come out and say, he makes a good point, and they're gonna interpret it for him in the best way possible to try to.
He actually means this.
Go ahead. Yeah, but at the end of the day, again, I think the Republican Party is trying to figure out what it looks like post him. Even I think JD Vance, when JD Vance does interviews and things related to the administration, before he was quick to say, "I agree with the president. I agree with the president." Now he's not saying that. He's saying that the president came to a decision. My job isn't to have an opinion. My job is to make the best thing possible happen. And that's pretty much his answer thing. And he's kind of going. You notice Marco Rubio's gone fully dark. I'm sorry, I'm just putting thoughts out now. But yeah, it's getting bad. It's about to go downhill for this administration.
What do you mean? I gotta hear about what do you mean fully dark? By the way,
I'm saying Marco Rubio just put out that message.
Something about his race. Something about being Latin. Mm-hmm.
No, I'm saying that everything. Like everything related, when it first came out with Iran, Marco Rubio was out front talking about because he as the Secretary of State.
I just watched Rubio yesterday.
He just put out a random ass message
about foreigners
talking about Israel and banning them and all that.
That's right.
But they ended up making JD Vance the face related to this
Iran,
relate to Iran. And he's going out, which is the vice president. That's not his role at all. Like none of it makes sense for the vice president to be talking about what's going on in regards. As in that's not a vice president should be your head negotiator.
Hold on. Vice presidents are defined by the president. They can be whatever the president wants them to be. Really.
That's he has no experience.
That's angel.
He has no experience.
I'll help out myself, but you're talking.
But yeah, that's it.